Of Primetime with Isaac and Sue, always live on the Odyssey app, is KFXX KWJJ HD2 Portland, 1080 The Fan, an Odyssey station. It's time to kick off with Dirt and Sprague.
22-yard line, that's where Philadelphia opens up, handoff. It's Barkley running to the left. Barkley gets by everybody. Saquon Barkley is gone. Touchdown. Mahomes in the gun, receivers in tight. He gets the knee-high shotgun snap. He's grabbed, he throws as he's being tackled, and it was caught in the end zone by Kelsey. What a grab by Kelsey, but what a play by Mahomes.
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com. Injured? Don't trust just anyone to something so personal. Call George McCoy at Warren Allen. Online at WarrenAllen.com.
Super Week with Dirt and Sprague on 1080.
They're going to do whatever it takes to win.
The Fan.
All right, 6:02 in the Rose City.
Look at this,
Time
look at that.
for Dirt and Sprague.
I mean, look at this, look at that. What is happening?
Why are the mouses so delicate?
You want a little roof daddy right out of the gate on a Tuesday? You need a little roof daddy pick me up? Look at this, look at that. Oh, it's a delightful start to the show. What's happening, everybody?
How we doing?
We survived the drive-in. I almost didn't.
Dude,
Jesus.
I felt like Joe Pesci in Home Alone, just slipping my ass everywhere.
God.
It's a little slicker in your side.
I almost plowed into the side of a cop car this morning. If that cop, if you're listening, hello, good morning. Thanks for listening to the show. Two, if you were in your cop car when that whole thing went down, I guarantee, I just know what was going through that guy's mind of, look at this idiot. Look at this dumbass who's
the narrowest of margins you missed hitting a cop?
Yeah. There was an accident on the Fremont, and there was a truck that was facing the wrong direction.
Spun out,
facing the wrong direction, so that's always an encouraging sign. And on the on-ramp going over, I don't know why I wasn't paying that close of attention, I guess.
You didn't see the lights from, the on-ramp?
No, I didn't. I was not, I don't know, it's early. I'm not paying attention. I'm just kind of in my own little world, and all of a sudden I look up, and the right lane's closed, and there's flares, and there's a cop car parked there. And I don't know if you know this, but when you're on an on-ramp on a bridge, and it's sub-freezing temperature, road's a little slick. And so we did a little tap-tap-tap-a-roo all the way down the on-ramp, and thankfully we avoided any contact.
I got to say, I think it's on you.
This is 100% on me.
I saw those lights from before I even got on the 405.
There was even an announcement saying in 2 miles there's an accident.
Oh, there was?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there was. And I, the dots connected after I passed the accident. I'm like, oh, that's right. Back when I was on 84, there was an announcement that said there's an accident up ahead, and none of it registered to me.
You're still doing the 84 thing.
Still doing the 84 thing. I'm an idiot. This one's on me. Right hand up. I'll take the blame. To the cop who I almost plowed into, I apologize. Thanks for not giving me a follow-up ticket. I think the lesson was the valuable thing here.
I saw those lights from way out, and I went, oh no. Oh no.
Uh-oh, what happened?
That truck was pretty gnarly.
Gnarly truck. Also so terrifying and ice to get on an accident on the bridge.
Well, that bridge specifically, because it's just is my truck gonna go over the guardrail here?
No, thank you. I want nothing to do with that.
And then on my way in, after I charged my car, like the soy boy that I am, I may have slipped 3 different times where I felt like I was going to fall straight on my back.
Yeah, the only...
You're walking trying to get into the car.
No, on the way in from the
parking lot.
Oh, all the way in from here?
They haven't iced or salted or iced. They haven't salted or...
My area was fine. It's slicker here than it is at my house.
Back there.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
26 was fine. It was fairly dry out on the west side.
Where's our salt, man? I feel like we usually have a salt bay here when we get it in the morning. There's salt usually on the sidewalk and in the parking lot. Today's the slickest day of the bunch. We got no salt. Maybe that guy was the guy that got in the accident on the Fremont Bridge. He was on his way in to salt our parking lot.
None of these other shows have to deal with this crap.
No, they don't.
They don't know what it's like to sacrifice.
You drive in the middle of the day when everything's thawed out and it's 49 degrees and sunny.
I thought on the third time where I almost fell, and I was about to just be like, we should be at least number 17 for this.
You're damn right we should. If I'm almost going to get into an accident with a cop, that would have been a fun call-in. If I would have plowed, what would have happened there? If I plow onto the side of that cop car,
You wouldn't be on the show.
I'm not on the show.
You're not
yeah.
on the show.
Am I getting do you get arrested for that?
No, I don't think you get
Not
arrested.
Just a
If
ticket?
if you weren't speeding,
Do you get tickets?
I mean, I don't know. Do
I
you?
don't think you can. If you
Well,
get an
depends.
Is that
accident
like
with a
reckless
cop,
driving with ice, though? Like, would that be considered reckless driving?
don't know.
Can you please find that rule for me?
I don't know. I'm just asking questions here, man.
Is that a real thing?
I don't know.
Reckless driving with ice?
I've never hit a cop before. I'm imagining they can, weather determining, give you a reckless driving ticket.
yes.
Why would they? Yeah, I don't. I disagree with this.
Well, if like the entire road is ice and you're going 100 miles an hour,
Well, okay, yeah, you're going past the speed limit.
sure, you get a speeding ticket.
Is there
and
an
a
ice
reckless
speed
driving.
limit?
I have no clue. I don't know. I'm just asking the question.
Did any sign say go 30 miles an hour?
Why are you so angry this morning? What did
Well,
I do?
I think you're making up rules to get yourself in trouble. You hit a cop, it's
Yeah.
like hitting a regular car. You get stuck into an insurance situation.
Yeah.
You apologize profusely. The cop
it.
kind of scolds you for driving a little quick in ice, and I think they figure out a tow truck.
I would have called in the opening segment, though.
Really?
I would have called in.
We would have been your one phone call.
I would have been the one phone call. I would have called in. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm currently on the bridge right now. I hit a cop, so maybe I'll be there by 7. We'll see. I don't know. Depends on what my car's looking
Breaking
like.
news.
That would be funny. We're the one phone call just to be live
Yep.
on the radio.
Exactly.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody?
That's what'll get us into the top 10.
You get a phone call on the radio show from prison. That's how you bump up the standings.
Can I ask you guys a question here? I was at the Nike employee store on Sunday, and I was just perusing, mainly because we were doing a return. But, you know, when you're there, you might as well peruse a little bit. And the Phoenix Suns were there, like half the team.
Right, because they were here for 4 days. or
Hanging out
something.
all weekend in Portland.
Yeah, and the only player I saw was Plumlee, but I think they were scattered. I don't think KD and Booker were there, but
Plum Dog Millionaire.
you know, when
actually.
these teams are in town and they got a day, they go to Nike because they get free passes and they
Right.
buy a bunch of crap they don't need. And so I'm looking, and Mason Plumlee's there. And then all of a sudden I realize Brent Barry is an assistant coach with the Suns. Like I see Brent Barry, and I'm like,
Brent Barry.
Bones.
that's Brent Barry. And then I go, why would Brent Barry be here in Suns gear? Having no idea who assistant coaches are in the NBA.
Well, and now that there's 8 or 9 of them per team.
right. So
I would have never connected the dots there.
Well, I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he is an assistant coach with the Suns, so this makes sense. And in my mind, I went, I want to go up to each one of those guys, and I want to be like, hey, what do you think of that trade? Huh? That
Luka.
trade.
Luka's on the move. What do you make of it?
But I didn't, and I
No.
didn't even actually say anything.
You didn't ask him
To
when
them.
Jimmy Butler's coming?
I didn't make awkward eye contact.
When
Just
you guys going to trade KD to Golden State? When's he going to team back up with Steph? Why doesn't Nurkic play anymore? What happened there?
Well, but what I noticed was Plumlee and Brent Barry, a slam dunk champion, former Beaver. Nobody talked to them. Like, there were people at the store. Nobody was like, hey, can I get a photo? Get an autograph? Nothing.
Nothing at all.
And I just kept wondering in my head as I was trying to chase down my niece and my nephew in that store. I kept thinking, do you think those guys, do you think they secretly wish that people would come up and acknowledge who they are? Or do you think, do you lie to yourself and say, no, I just want to be a regular guy, man. I just want to be a regular.
I feel like if you're a Plumlee or a Brent Barry, you're probably a little disappointed.
Like Brent Barry had a great career. He won
did.
the dunk contest. He was a
He's-
local legend.
He's a Beaver.
And not a single person.
Not a single
was
person,
like,
yeah.
what up, Brent? Go Beavs.
And Mason Plumlee played here.
Yeah.
He was here
for like 5 years.
He was our
4 years.
center for a minute.
He
That
was.
the glory days of Blazer basketball. That
And
was-
nobody said anything to him.
hey, thanks for the 5 years of memories.
It was just like, hey, tall white guy's here.
Yeah, I think if you're of a higher establishment in the NBA, you're probably thrilled when people don't talk to you because you get it constantly.
Like if KD's there,
yeah, it's just he's bombarded nonstop everywhere he goes.
yeah.
And if you go into a Nike store and it's quiet for an hour and a half,
But
I bet
this
you
was
he's
the
like,
em-
this is awesome.
This was the employee store.
This is the employee
So
store.
this is limited access anyway.
It used to be.
I don't think it is anymore.
It's not like it used to be something that people would be like,
Yeah.
I went to the ES this weekend. And you'd be like, whoa, how'd you get in? And now it's just kind of like, my mom works for Columbia. She got some passes.
yeah, everybody gets passes to the employee
passes
store.
I just thrown around like they're,
You want to pass?
lottery
I got to
tickets.
pass. Who got to pass? I got to pass. I feel like those two guys, though, considering their local ties, a little disappointed.
Really?
A little disappointed.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how often Brent Barry's not getting recognized anywhere probably in Phoenix.
He looks great. He's in great shape. Body looks the same. He's a little older, got some gray, but his face looks the same.
He's never coached. Like, this is the first time he's ever coached.
He didn't coach in San Antonio in his post-career?
I'm looking up as a coach. It says 2024 to present Phoenix Suns. That's it. He was a Spur, obviously, as a player until 2008. But he doesn't have any other coaching tree, if you will.
Just kept thinking, I'm glad I didn't wear my Tony Parker jersey.
Yeah, it would have been a little awkward. Yeah. Would have been cool if you had a Brent Barry Oregon State jersey on, though. What are the odds of that? Get that bad boy autographed? Brent, no way.
Swag, did you get that reference at all? The Tony Parker thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep that went, that story. Yeah. I mean, look, I probably should have went up and said, go Beavs.
Go Beavs. Go Beavs, Brent.
Give him a little nux, a little pound. But, he was shopping for George Kittle jerseys, so, I didn't want to bother him.
Hey, he said go Niners. Could have dropped one of those, too. Yeah, Niners.
I think these guys just get in and they shop for their family members because they're bored.
That's what. Yeah,
it's like the Grinch. Am I just eating because I'm bored? It's like I think they're just shopping because they're bored.
I'm not there as a family member, so I'm going to bring back gifts to every town that I go to. I'll come home and look at this. I got a bag of goodies for you. If I were you, I wouldn't have said anything to Plumlee because his era as a Blazer didn't do anything for me. The Brent Barry one. Now, Brent Barry, what years was he at Oregon State?
Early 90s.
So, yeah, 91 to 95. So that's a little bit different, too, because you're not vividly watching that. It's a little bit different than if you run into somebody that was you were there at college at the same time or you watch as an adult. I feel like the relationship, it's a little bit different, and then you probably would have gone up and said something.
This is no judgment, so please don't listen to this and think I'm a douche. But, I'm also almost 40. It's just
thanks for the memories.
I don't know. It just kind of feels like I get uncomfortable with it, I think.
Yeah.
I have a photo with Steve Sarkisian at the employee store. And I look back at that. I think I was 26.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did I take this photo? Why did I do this?
I think it'd be something if you were
He was the UW coach.
If you were next to him in the checkout line and you were just kind of there,
Sure,
and you recognized
You don't go
him.
out of your way, but you're standing there.
But yeah, if you see him across the
Bones.
store,
Hey, just turn Bones.
Hey, Bones.
I have one of those random pictures, too, with Tyrone Willingham.
You got a random with
I was
Tyrone
at a movie
Willingham?
theater in Seattle with my family, and he was waiting for somebody or waiting to go into a movie. I can't remember if it was before the 0-12 season because I definitely would have made a crack about that.
Was it fresh into UW?
I think it was
after
fresh
Notre
into
Dame?
UW, and I
Right
gave him
after was that right after Stanford?
probably.
Did he
Didn't
go?
I think
No,
he
then
came from Notre
Stanford,
Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, he came
That's
from
right.
Notre Dame to go to Washington.
You
if I
don't
remember
go from
correctly.
Notre Dame to Stanford. You go up.
Yeah. And I think I just dropped a "Hey, go Ducks," and he laughed, and I took a picture with him, and that was it.
By the way, Brent Barry's teams, none of them went to the tournament.
What a bummer.
He played in a really bad era. I mean,
He
the whole
did.
era's been, largely it's not been a good
Yeah.
era. But
How many years did he miss GP2 by? What was GP2's last year at Oregon State?
Brent Barry?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like
GP2?
That's a
Or Gary Payton, sorry.
Oh.
Gary Payton Sr.
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
Because he was late 80s, if I remember correctly.
Peyton's last year was 90, wasn't it?
Yeah, they lost in the first round his final year.
Yeah, Ball
Yeah.
State.
I think that was his SI cover year.
Yeah.
One of the all-time disappointing
National
results.
Player of the Year for SI.
Is the
and
Ken
then-
Simonton situation.
Yeah, one and done thanks to Ball State.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah, you might be right. I also have a random photo with Sam Bradford at that store.
Sam Bradford, I remember that picture.
There was a moment there from I would say
Were you taller than him?
I think I was a half inch shorter than him.
Yeah, Sam Bradford, not that big. Little hands, too.
Also, I don't have very big arms. I remember taking away your arms are barely bigger than
You're
mine.
gonna
That
be
guy's
an
an
NFL quarterback.
It's the number 1 overall pick in the draft, Sam Bradford, to you.
Well, it was a moment in time to give you a reference. He wasn't a quarterback in the NFL for much longer after this photo.
That didn't last very long.
Shocking. That guy couldn't stay healthy.
I'm going to get this picture. It's going to be worth a lot of money someday.
It's a bad photo. I have a mop top. It looks like a bowl cut because my hair's too long. I'm making my eyes are really wide, and Bradford has a look of why is this guy taking a photo with me? It's a bad photo.
Who the hell is this guy, man?
I don't take good photos. Do you guys feel like you're very photogenic?
Not
No,
photogenic
I
at
hate
all.
getting my picture taken. I do not think I take good photos. I
Really?
will avoid photos at most.
At all costs?
Yeah.
Samesies.
Yeah.
Can't stand doing it. I
I'm
hate my
jealous
photos.
of the men out there that do legitimately either carry that
Yeah.
confidence or they know that they're good looking in photos.
I think I've reached a point in my life, too, that I don't know if there's any, I don't know, maybe that's too aggressive. There are not many athletes that I would even contemplate going up and saying hi to. That every athlete, every person that I see now in public is an elbow to the person that I'm with and that's so-and-so, and then that's it for me.
That's about it. That's
That's
as far
about
as
it.
goes.
I don't even know. You would have to find a fandom angle for me of oh my God, I want to get something autographed by that guy, or he was one of my favorite athletes.
Rasheed Wallace.
No, not saying a word.
Justin Herbert.
Feels weird because you're older.
It does feel weird. It does.
Hey, Justin.
I also know that he's incredibly socially awkward, and that interaction is going to be like, hey, man, hey.
Also, how many other people have
Ducks.
gone up to him at that point? Right?
Exactly. How you're just the next in line.
What are you shoving little kids out of the way too? Because you know the little kids are going to
Absolutely.
get the
Get out of the way, kids.
I got a Herbert jersey.
I'm assuming Herbert will come home and visit family in Eugene at some point in the
I would
offseason.
imagine
He had
so.
a camp here last year. I was here all the time.
He's
got a golf
one
tournament.
I could see, just running into in a random spot somewhere.
I don't know if I'd say anything, to be honest
See,
with you.
I think it's the scenario he painted earlier. Like if I'm in the well, here's the other thing. Where I checked out is not where Brent Berry checks out. Humble brag.
Yes.
But if you are in a checkout situation,
Right. And you're standing.
and Justin Herbert is right next to you,
Hey, what's up, Herbert? I'd give him one of those.
like, what up, Herb?
Hey, go Ducks.
Yeah.
Do something like that and then
Something
go
like
about
that.
my day. But I'm not going out of my way to go, hey, Justin.
You don't
remember that one time he threw the touchdown pass against Utah? Remember that? That was awesome.
Remember those 3 Tud runs
Remember
against the Badgers?
I was on the field for that game, man. I was like right there. I saw all of it happen. It was so cool.
Well, it also feels douchey the other way because I got people who tell me to do this all the time, and I never do it, and I don't want to. It's like, hey, Justin, Andy Johnson, 10A fan.
Yeah, like he has any idea who I am.
Nor that he'll care
No.
or remember any of that.
Oh, yeah, 1080 The Fan. I lived in Eugene and now in Los Angeles. I'm well aware of a Portland radio station.
But you know who does do that? I am Dave Softy Mahler. KJR, Dave Softy Mahler. Go Dogs. Bow down. All right, well, let's get it going. We got a Tuesday edition of the program today. We're going to start diving into the old big game, the Super Week.
Super Week. Tuesday is Super Week.
I'm so conditioned with the way that we advertise in this country outside of the NFL that, like, I'm almost afraid to even on air call it the Super Bowl.
It's not the Super Bowl.
Hey, we got the big game to talk about. The Super Game.
Yeah,
the big week.
Roger Goodell's on line 3. You just got a lawsuit filed against the station. How dare you use the phrase of the game on the air?
Why can't we use that, but we are allowed
You can
to use
say it. You
why
just-
can't we use three-peat?
Yeah.
Just willy-nilly. Pat
Doesn't-
Riley owns that.
He does own that trademark.
But nobody cares. They're always like, oh, they're going for the three-peat.
Well, you can say
What a
it.
douchey
You-
thing for Pat Riley to do,
you
too, by the way.
cannot use it in a marketing
Yes.
purpose. If it is a news purpose.
Well, that's Kansas City skating this. Have you heard what they're doing?
Oh.
Chief Pete,
Perfect.
which should make you hate him even more.
I mean, that's pretty smart right there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's it. Chief Pete's maybe the coolest thing they've ever come up with. It's kind of making me like him a little bit.
So
Meters moving.
we got a Super Bowl NFL Factoid Tuesday here. I got actual paper.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, hardwood. We'll get to the Blazer game. They win again. You just cannot stop the juggernaut that is the Portland Trailblazers.
Here come the playoffs.
It's a Mail Sack Tuesday, so get the Mail Sack questions in. Let's start. We get it going next. Sturt and Sprague. Good to be with you on the Fan.
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
on 1080 The Fan.
All right, it is the Super Bowl is this weekend. Still haven't decided what I'm going to eat. I failed on my conference championship. I got home a little late, and then I got super lazy, got pizza.
Yeah.
And I just, 2 slices in, I'm like, why did I do this? I don't feel great.
It's a bad idea. What's the weather supposed to be like Sunday?
I just assume cold.
So we got grill. Is it grilling weather though? Out am I? Is it safe to go outside, or am I going to get? We got 43 degrees and sun as of right now. That's not bad.
I moved my Blackstone to in my garage.
In your garage?
So I just cracked the garage, and I'm still kind of inside.
Not a bad idea.
It's actually one of the smarter things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, I got a lot. There's a lot of smoke that comes from the old smoker, and I don't know. It's just one of those.
I hear you.
So being out, if it's 43
cooking
and sunny,
slow and low,
Yeah.
it's out. You don't really need to go out there much.
that's acceptable. I could do that. I could handle. I could stand over the grill for a bit at 43 and sunny. The weather's nice.
Yeah.
I just have this urge to make something really healthy.
Oh.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
Why?
Come on, it's the Super Bowl.
Do a big smoked salmon.
You know he doesn't like seafood.
No, I don't think he knows anything about me. We've been doing shows for 6 years. I've told him maybe 80 times I don't like seafood.
He doesn't like salmon.
And every time he's like, why don't you do a crab dip?
Well, the problem is you haven't had salmon the way that I cook it. Once you have it the way that I cook it, then you will be totally fine and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fat, so that's where my mind goes.
Don't
but
you just feel awful eating bad food now? Because I
really.
legitimately just my stomach hurts, my guts are moving.
I mean, that's me every day, no matter what I eat. Even if I eat healthy, that's the way my stomach feels. Yeah.
Maybe that's your body actually fighting the toxins out, and the next day if you keep going.
Get this crap out of here now. We're gonna go bad food. It's the last football game of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not terrible. I'll probably do something like wing. I love doing wings. I love smoked wings.
Yeah, wings are good.
They sit out all day. They're perfect. You have a colder wing later in the afternoon. It's delightful, dude.
A cold wing is underrated.
A cold wing that's been sitting in sauce for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just perfect. It hits the spot.
You know what you're doing, Swag?
10 out of 10.
Oh, you're going to a buddy's house.
I'm going to buddy's
That's
house,
right.
but I'm making my chili. That was requested.
Okay, there you go. That's a good call. My daughter randomly went shopping with her the other day, my oldest, and she randomly just unsolicited goes, I really like big football games. What? You never watch them with me?
It's the Super Bowl. Let's
She goes,
go.
oh, I mean, the Super Bowl. I go, you do? And she goes, yeah, I always love it. We usually have a party. And I'm like, I mean, we've had a couple get-togethers.
Not really.
Say we always throw a party.
Is this a commercial halftime show thing? Because if it is, the NFL's winning.
Do you really want to know what it is?
What is it?
For her, it's the Puppy Bowl.
Yeah, Puppy Bowl's a big deal. Lead again.
She just loves seeing those adorable, cute dogs
How do you
run
not?
around.
How do you not?
You can't even tell why or how it's a touchdown, but they
No.
just run around. Touchdown, fluffers.
Dude, the Puppy Bowl will undoubtedly be on my television on Sunday.
Will it?
It will 100% be
It
on
just
my
starts
television.
at the game's what, 3:30-ish?
Puppy Bowl leads
It's
into
like
it
11
usually.
a.m.-ish is when the Puppy Bowl is.
I'm going to be in one room probably watching the final round of the Waste Management Open, and I'm sure there will be a
There you
TV
go.
for the little guy to watch the Puppy Bowl.
Is that an elevated event this year?
I don't know. I don't know if it is.
Also, is it
It
going to
is
be as
not.
chaotic this season?
I don't
'Cause
believe
Probably
it is.
not. They're
Yeah,
saying
well,
that
everybody's dropping out of it.
fat drunk people rolling around in mud last year, and it
'Cause
was like, all right, this is a little too broy.
Well, the
cracking down on it
I mean,
this year.
it got a little out of hand.
It was way out of hand last year.
Have 5 beers and be like, woo! But
No,
they were rolling
They
around.
got their
and crap.
zero tolerance policy in place this year.
I mean, we'll see how long that holds up for you. It's much easier said than done when you get the most, I believe, patroned golf tournament of the year where there's 100,000 people there. Good luck controlling that entire crowd.
I don't remember if I gave the take on the show, but last year, watching the highlights of it and seeing it live, I kind of went Shooter McGavin in my head.
Go back to your shanties.
Go back to your shanties. What is wrong with you
Yeah.
people? All right, get a little loose. I'm pro being noisy, and I think it makes the atmosphere more fun to
It's the one tournament a year where you just kind of let loose.
the whole quiet on the tee box. Why? They're professionals.
Yeah, hit the
Every
ball.
other athlete has to deal with noise. But last year was just I saw a fat guy with no shirt. He's rolling down in the mud because he's blackout drunk. Come on, man. This ain't like Woodstock.
Have
What are we
yourself a
doing
day,
here?
man. Now, did you have an old fuddy-duddy take? Did you see Jason Day's outfit this weekend at Pebble Beach?
I didn't see much Pebble Beach action.
Yeah, Rory McIlroy won. That's the big takeaway.
So highlight that Tom Kim took a minute 23 to step to a ball and hit it.
It's an absolute problem.
A minute 23.
An absolute problem. There should be. I mean, I just start punishing guys. That's a whole different conversation. Take a quick gander at Jason Day on social media, because
his new company thing. I don't know who they are.
Was it Malborn? I think is the name of the golf company that he's paired up with.
Not too many people are all fired up about.
Why does he choose the word?
He legitimately
is he in a pajama outfit.
He legitimately wore a sweatsuit and played golf at Pebble Beach, and people were not happy about
Somebody
that.
said he looked like the John Fetterman of the PGA
Tour. Which, when the commentators were like, did he lose his luggage? And it's like, no, that's his spot. I don't know how he was allowed to do that.
This is allowed? You can wear pajamas?
I don't know.
This is a sweatsuit.
It's a sweatsuit. He literally wore a sweatsuit on Sunday at an elevated event at Pebble Beach, one of the most iconic golf courses in America.
Also, if you're
the Fuddy Duddies were not thrilled about that.
If you're a dude and you wear gray sweatpants, there's like a offline theory about like what women like about men wearing gray sweatpants.
Yes, there is.
He wore them way too big.
Yeah.
Too baggy. Didn't give the ladies what they want.
He didn't get the swag.
No.
He didn't have the swag with the tight sweatpants, and let me show you the bulge.
Good Lord.
See what's going on over here.
Boy, that is a moose knuckle. This is something I do not need to see every week, and yet I do. Oh, God. Michael McDonald.
I mean, this guy showed up to a golf tournament in just an all-gray sweatsuit. He just played in an all-gray sweatsuit. I kind of appreciate the hustle.
He kind of looks like somebody who's given up on life.
Like nobody told him anything. He's like walking. I guarantee you, he's walking out of the locker room like, wait, is nobody going to say anything about this? Can I? Okay, all right. I'm going to the first tee now. I'm going to go tee off. Nobody. All right. Guess we're playing in a sweatsuit today.
So you guys know what you're eating and you know what you're doing. You're gonna be at your house.
I think I'm gonna do wings. I'm not going anywhere.
You got people coming over?
No, nobody coming over.
Yeah, I kind of like some years I'm into it, and some years I just don't feel the vibe. I don't want to go anywhere, and I don't think I want anybody at my house. I just want to kind of chill.
This is one I'll be hanging out with Teddy.
I think it's gonna be a good game.
It should be. Chiefs play one-score games. It will be a one-score game.
I got some of those factoids.
Okay,
let's get to them.
We'll deliver them to you next. NFL Factoid Tuesday. We got some Roger Goodell audio from the NFL media.
Yeah, he had his
extravaganza.
State of the League presser early in the afternoon.
Is Roger Goodell? Where is he at? Think about this one. We'll get to it at 45. Where is Roger Goodell of greatest commissioners in sports history? I was thinking about this, listening to his, because he had a lot of answers. So I'm like, I don't care about this question.
He's not even the best commissioner in his sport yet.
He's not the best commissioner in a sport?
In his sport. He's not the best NFL commissioner.
Of all time?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that. We could talk about that a little bit. I think he's an interesting dude.
I think people would probably put him atop the core four right now, would they not?
Yeah.
Oh, the current one?
Which, like 7 years ago, would have been unthinkable, but because Silver was the darling, and people aren't thrilled.
Well,
nobody in hockey likes Gary Bettman.
Nobody likes Gary Bettman.
He's almost out, too. Bettman's on his way out.
He's on his way out, and Manfred is
just melted.
As a lawyer.
He's Michael Scott. He has lucked into some good things, but nobody thinks he knows what he's doing.
Can't wait for the golden hitter rule.
We'll get to that, but NFL Factoid Tuesday's next, but first Swag with the Sports Update.
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, well, the Trailblazers just keep winning, much to the chagrin of several fans. Portland picked up their 8th victory in their last 9 games, holding off the Suns in overtime, 121-119. DeAndre Ayton led 6 Blazers in double figures with 25 points and 20 rebounds. Portland hit 16 of 40 3-point attempts. Now they'll go for a 5th straight win tonight, hosting the Pacers at 7 o'clock. Indiana rallied in Salt Lake for a 112-111 win Monday night. You can see this one on KUNP. That's Xfinity Channel 1016. Blazers 5-point underdogs. TNT's doubleheader tonight starts with the top 2 teams in the East as the Cavaliers host the Celtics at 4:30. Cleveland a 2-point favorite. Then at 7, it's the Battle of L.A. The Lakers, who will not have Luka Doncic in uniform yet, facing the Clippers. Clips 8-point favorites. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell had his State of the League press conference from the Super Bowl on Monday, gave no timetable for an 18-game schedule to be implemented. Said the league will look to expand the use of video assist for officials and is continuing to test technology to assist officials with spotting of the ball and determining first downs. While the Browns are on record saying they have no interest in trading defensive end Myles Garrett despite his request, the Rams have told wide receiver Cooper Kupp they intend to trade him before next season, even though Kupp would like to stay in L.A. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Do it every morning.
I think it's very vital to rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. It's so tight. Here we go.
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back in. 6:36. Who is the best team in the NBA since January 19th? Your Portland Trailblazers. We'll get to that at the top of the hour.
They did it again.
There's still leftover Luka stuff, and I'm like not confident at any ounce of me is confident that Dirt has that on show sheet stuff.
I got it on my show sheet stuff.
Do you really? You got leftovers?
I got leftovers.
Wow.
I got the Harababalov. I got Vulgaris guy. What was his name? How do you say his name?
Haralababa.
Yeah, Haralababa.
Haralabab.
Haralabab.
Yeah, famously big sports gambler, actually
yes.
parlayed his analytic expertise into a job. with said Mavericks, and then he quit, and now he runs like a soccer team, and he runs the super rich crypto life.
He had some pretty funny comments about his first experiences getting to Dallas and what people were like around Luka and what Luka was like and the way it operated inside the organization.
Well, and people also, they're dancing around a thing with Luka. They're saying something without saying it because you can't say it unless it like rears its head publicly.
Yes.
And I want to get into that a little bit, but we'll get to the Blazers at the top of the hour. Let's do NFL Factoid Tuesday. It's our last one of the year. I'm not doing this again for a while.
Last one?
Last one.
Okay.
Just for the season.
Okay.
It's a wrap-up. And it's a Super Bowl look ahead, okay? Coaches to meet multiple times in Super Bowl history. Chuck Noll, Tom Landry.
Yep.
Jimmy Johnson, Marv Levy.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Coughlin, Bill Belichick. Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
And now Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni. If Andy Reid wins, all the coaches that have had rematches twice in Super Bowls will have won both.
That's a pretty wild stat.
Yeah.
As you went through them, I'm trying to think of, like, what's the record? Okay, one
Noll
of
beat
both,
Landry,
both.
Johnson
Yeah.
beat Levy.
That's right.
Coughlin somehow beat Belichick.
Was 2-0 against Belichick.
Reid
yeah.
beat Shanahan,
2-0.
and he has a chance to go 2-0 against Nick Sirianni.
Another reason why Kansas City's probably going to win.
What's on the line for the Chiefs, aside from a Chief Pete? Most consecutive wins in playoff NFL history. The Patriots lead that with 10 from 0-1 to 0-5. The Chiefs are currently sitting at 9.
So this would be 10.
It's a tie-in for the all-time playoff streak.
Be pretty shocked if they didn't win at least one playoff game next year, whether it be a wild card or a divisional round game, and that would give them the all-time record. It's a remarkable run. And one of our listeners, by the way, suggested a Reed Pete, which is pretty good.
The Reed Pete is a
Reed
good one,
Pete's
too.
pretty
That's a great
Chief
one.
Pete, Reed Pete's not bad.
They're probably calling it all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Teams to win 3 straight championships since 1970. Now, this is not just the core 4.
Going off the board
We're
here.
going
There's a little off the board one. How many have done it since 1970?
Since 1970.
Easy, Riggins. Easy.
Easy, Riggins.
I know you know it.
Well, I know the Yankees won 3 in a row
You're correct.
in the late 90s. I know the Bulls did it twice.
There's 3.
Trying to think. I mean, the Celtics had to.
Nope.
No,
No.
Celtics and Lakers
No.
didn't because
Not
they
since
exchanged
1970,
so
no.
many in the 80s.
They doubled up occasionally, but not tripled up.
I don't think. Did anybody win 3 in a row Stanley Cups?
The Montreal
Shut
Canadiens.
up. Shut up. Riggins. Shut up.
To be fair, I did ask that question. I wouldn't have guessed that. What years did the Canadians do that?
76, 79.
Yeah, it's before.
And
my
then there
time.
was
There's another
another
one.
one right after it.
In that sport.
Edmonton.
No.
No.
Well,
No. Yes.
not right after them.
No.
You're longing for this
Yes,
answer.
they won 4 in a row.
The Islanders?
Yes.
That's right.
How about that? And one off the board.
Probably not going to get it.
WNBA,
Yes.
the Houston Comets.
They started
Look
the
at that.
league off with a team winning 4
4 straight
championships.
titles right out of the gate?
Yeah.
That's parody for
If
you.
you want to look into my life as a child, I remember when the WNBA started, when they won
Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl
Cooper,
Swoops, I
Tina
believe.
Thompson,
Yes.
Cheryl Swoops. Very unfair team. I remember telling my mom, my favorite WNBA team's the Comet.
Big
Just
Comets fan.
total bandwagon kid.
Love the Comets. Big fan of Houston.
Lakers with Kobe Shaq.
Yeah, Lakers, touche.
Yankees, the Comets, the Bulls in 2 different versions, the Islanders, the Canadiens, and one baseball team that we didn't mention.
Since 1970.
Yep. They no longer play in their city.
The A's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
72 to 74.
Yeah.
MVP quarterback versus number 1 defenses in Super Bowls. This will mark the 6th Super Bowl matchup between a quarterback with an MVP award and the number 1 defense in the league in terms of yards per game since the merger in 70. In the 5 previous instances, the defense has won the Super Bowl 4 times. Cam Newton against the Broncos in 15.
Remember it?
Brady against Seahawks in 14. Manning against the Seahawks in 13. Warner against the Steelers, and Gannon against the Bucks. The lone one there, of course, is Terrific Tom.
Who only won it because
Yeah.
they got an interception on the 1-yard line.
Just utterly ridiculous.
the anniversary of that game. I remember that being the big debate going into the Peyton Manning, versus Legion of Boom Super Bowl. That was the whole conversation. Number 1 offense, unstoppable. Those numbers that Manning put up that year, just
55 tuds, right? Wasn't
insanity. He's got numbers from that year that I just don't think anybody. Maybe we keep extending the regular season. We'll get there eventually. But that was the whole debate. Number 1 offense, number 1 defense. Number 1 defense killed them.
Yeah, the center pissed down his leg to start the
Opening
game.
snap of the game.
I think he saw Cam Chancellor and was like, oh, my God.
To be fair, I also would pee down my pants if I saw Cam Chancellor trying to hit me.
Yeah, no kidding. Underdogs have covered 4 straight Super Bowls. Since 2007, the underdogs are 10-7 outright and 12-5 against the spread in the Super Bowl.
What was the number of the game last year?
It was the same. It was 1.5.
Okay.
Niners. Since 2001, underdogs are 12-11 outright and 16-7 against the spread in the Super Bowl. Underdogs are 22-36 outright, 29-27-2 against the spread in the Super Bowl all time.
Yeah, Kansas City being an underdog is pretty funny. Pretty funny we're doing this again.
Teams to win the Super Bowl are 48-7-2 against the spread. The only time in the last 15 Super Bowls that a team won the game but did not cover the spread in the Super Bowl was...
I got no clue.
Rams-Bengals. That was a 4.5-point spread. The Rams won by 3.
Interesting. They won by 3, yeah.
AFC teams are 7-2 against the spread in the last 9 Super Bowls.
You got any stats in there about what
I
Patrick Mahomes is as an underdog in his career, too?
do.
By less than 3 points.
Preseason
Keep adding fuel to the fire.
Preseason favorites to reach the Super Bowl since 2013. Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah, Chiefs.
Patriots.
Yep. Sounds about right. It's my entire life as an NFL fan. It's been 2
Unbelievable.
teams. That's it. That's all I got.
The Chiefs are the 8th team to reach the Super Bowl despite a losing record against the spread. The previous 6 teams are 2-5 outright and 3-4 against the spread.
Hey,
in the
there's
Super
one. There's
Bowl.
an encouraging one at least. There's one stat that gives me a little bit of hope.
You don't think they'll be one of the teams to win?
No, I mean, they will be, but at least that's one historical parameter that you can give me that tells me that things won't go their way this weekend.
Worst against the spread records entering Super Bowls. You've got the Panthers, who lost but covered in 2003.
Yep.
The Ravens in 2012, they won and they covered.
Yep.
Shout out the Niners. The Niners in 2023 lost and they didn't cover.
Nope.
Shout out my Niners again. The 79 Rams lost and didn't cover. The 2020 Chiefs, that was the Brady year, lost and no. 2022 Chiefs won and covered. And we'll see what happens with the 2024 Chiefs.
Yeah, they have not been great against the numbers. Some of that is just because their bets are so inflated and their lines are so inflated. I mean, they're 15-2 on the season, and when they've tried to win games, well, more than that now, counting playoffs, but when they've actually played guys, they've lost once this year, one time in Buffalo.
Most championship game and round MVPs in sports of the core 4. Jordan has 6.
Yep.
Brady has 5. LeBron has 4. With Mahomes' win and an MVP, he will tie LeBron.
With 4. Yeah, it's remarkable. There hasn't been one. Brady had one early on. What was the wide receiver that won one early? Didn't he have a wide receiver?
Deion Branch.
Deion Branch, thank you.
Got a big deal out of that game.
He did.
Eagles' incredible turnover margin. The Eagles enter the Super Bowl with 10 takeaways and not a single turnover. The next closest 2 teams to do that, the 98 Broncos and the 04 Patriots, who both won the Super Bowl.
Okay. That's a good number if you're an Eagles fan.
The Eagles are 3-0 outright as underdogs this season. Only one team in the Super Bowl era has gone 4-0 or better in a season as underdogs, last year's Chiefs. Led the league in rush yards and made the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is a very odd segment, Swag, without that music.
Yeah,
Please
it does.
keep the music going. Led the league in rush yards and made the Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley's trying to do it this year.
Yes, he is.
Christian McCaffrey last year, loser.
Loser, yeah, fumbled on the opening possession of the game, too.
And before that, can you name the player? Lead the league in rushing and made the Super Bowl.
Rushing and made the Super Bowl. I have to imagine it's been a minute.
Emmitt Smith?
No, he is on this list.
Terrell Davis? Marshall
He's
Faulk.
on this list, but there's a more recent one.
There's a more recent one.
Not Marshall Faulk.
Not Marshall. More recent than Marshall Faulk?
Yep. Some would say you may need elbow pads to put this together.
Jamal Anderson? No, that would have been before that. Elbow pad. Sean Alexander.
Sean Alexander,
Hey.
2005, when the Steelers stole it from him.
Do you know Jerome Bettis is from Detroit?
I did. Barkley closing in on the most rush yards, including the playoffs. Entering the Super Bowl, he's 30 rushing yards to pass Terrell Davis for the most in a season. Where is the music? Why? 30 yards away from passing TD.
He's having a hell of a year.
Have you quit on this segment?
I don't know what's going. He's not playing music.
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know if it's a wide orbit issue. I don't know. What's happening.
who
Joey's
knows
in
at this
here. I don't know.
point?
I don't know.
I
what's
know we
happening.
got to go to break. I'm trying to get one more factoid. I've prepared all week for this. One more Mahomes one. This is the last one, I swear.
I'm sure it's a positive, encouraging number for Chiefs haters out there.
Mahomes, he could become the 5th player in the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, and NHL history to win at least 4 titles and 2 league MVP awards within his first 8 seasons, joining Jolton Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Bill Russell, Guy LaFleur.
Guy LaFleur.
Who did Guy LaFleur play for?
Somebody makes me bleed my own blood.
That would be Guy LaFleur.
Was it Guy?
Of the Montreal Canadiens.
Is it say Pele?
Guy
LaFleur.
Guy LaFleur is a little bit cooler. For
Guy
being honest
LaFleur
there. Guy
sounds
LaFleur
way
is
better in a bar at 2 a.m.
Way cooler name.
My name's Guy LaFleur.
You're getting a beer with a guy in a Canadian bar.
I'll get you home
I
safely.
want you to be Guy LaFleur. What's up, Guy?
Kind of made Guy LaFleur creep, actually.
He was on those Canadian
Was he?
Stanley Cup teams in the
Okay.
70s.
Won all those titles.
There you go. Our last NFL Factoid Tuesday
Well done.
going into thank you.
Well done.
Yeah,
Good numbers.
Thank you.
Good numbers. We're all educated. We're ready to go.
Roger Goodell spoke. We'll hear from Roger Goodell, and then we'll get to our red hot and rolling Blazers at the top of the hour. Dirt and Sprague back with more on the Fan.
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
on 1080 The Fan.
We've got some Super Bowl Media Day audio. I pulled some stuff. I didn't watch live, but I saw some highlights.
Yeah.
I wanted to play two cuts for you.
Jalen Hurts is a handsome man. That was a funny highlight. My
We
wife
can,
thinks you're handsome. How do I get that handsome? He's like, sorry, man.
I think he said genetics.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
said-
I don't know, man. Genetics?
It's a DNA thing, brother. You can't do anything about it.
In case you're curious, what kind of food is Travis Kelce's favorite that Taylor Swift makes him?
She is quite the cook. I would say, man, I'm a breakfast guy, man. Her Pop-Tarts are unbelievable, man. Homemade Pop-Tarts, they're unbelievable.
Is Pop-Tarts code for something, or does she home make Pop-Tarts?
When was the last time Taylor Swift cooked a meal?
I guess she's like a big cook.
I highly doubt that.
Really?
I highly doubt that.
She strikes
in
me
her
as very
curated
wholesome-
image. Yeah, I'm sure she's
Wholesome, I'm at
slaving
home.
over a meal for 7 hours while she's, going on her 8-continent tour.
We don't make 7-hour meals. Why can't she just be making what we're making?
No chance she cooks meals for
You don't think
herself.
she makes spaghetti
No
on
chance.
a Tuesday?
This is like that documentary that came out. Who's the Prince Harry or whatever what's her name?
Meghan Markle.
They're coming out with some Netflix documentary. And she's like, I'm out in the backyard making honey from my bee nest.
You don't
It's
believe
like,
these people
no,
can be normal
No,
people?
I don't think so at all.
Really?
I think that is absolutely a curated image for that documentary, and all of that is fake.
You
And
don't
there's
think
no
Taylor
cha-
Swift cooks?
Nope, I don't think there's a chance she cooks.
He just cited her homemade Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, Pop-Tart's not cooking. That's putting something in a toaster.
No.
I think that
Homemade.
was a joke.
No, I don't think that was a joke.
I think it was a joke.
I think Taylor Swift cooks.
No.
Poll question, does Taylor Swift cook at home?
What do you think, Swag? Taylor Swift to cook?
I believe Taylor
Yeah.
Swift will, when she's finally done
When
with
she's
everything.
not on her Eras tour.
Right. Obviously.
She's so down to earth, that Taylor. Oh, my gosh.
I think
her and her
Taylor's-
private jets. She gets me. She gets me, Brandon.
Did you make the bracelets,
Her
though?
songs speak to me.
Have you ever had
For $17
homemade
billion.
Pop-Tarts?
I
There's
haven't had a homemade
There's
one.
there's a little bakery in downtown Hillsboro, and I've had them, and they're absolute. I'm gonna have to get them sometime. And
They
bring
look
you in.
delicious.
They're ginormous.
Yeah.
But yeah, homemade Pop-Tarts.
It's been on my
fantastic.
Instagram algorithm to home make Pop-Tarts. They look amazing.
Look delightful. I'm not the biggest Pop-Tart guy in the world to begin with.
But the homemade ones are different.
Oh, I bet
this
they are,
is-
yeah.
This is a local, bakery.
yeah.
And in case you needed another reason to be annoyed at the Chiefs, Chris
Oh.
Jones opened it up.
Kansas City! We're back in the Super Bowl, baby!
Yep. Yeah, you are, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, you are.
Third time doing that, Chris, it just
Yeah.
doesn't hit the same. You know
Did he
what
do
I mean?
the same thing the last couple of Super Bowls? Is that how he intros all
I
of his
don't
press
know.
conferences?
Right.
Probably.
Glad he's excited. Hope he doesn't peak too early.
We're back again. Here we go. And next year. They'll be back next year. Don't worry.
Oh, it's never going to end.
Brace yourself, Chris. You're going to win 17 of these in a row. So
Wait
we're
for the
gonna-
2028 NFL Factoid Tuesday when I'm like, Chiefs are looking to win their 7th straight Super Bowl.
This will be the first time a team's won a decade straight of championships in the history of sports.
We've never seen anything like this, ever. I sound like somebody who had never slept.
Make it stop, please, for the love of God. At what point does the league step in and say this cannot continue?
Dirt's just going to be face down at his
No,
desk.
I'm not gonna. I refuse to talk about the Super
Dirt
Bowl on the
thoughts on
show.
the Super Bowl.
I'm gonna give you random thoughts on Knicks and Rockets from last night. I watched almost every second
a
of that
good game.
It's a
We got-
delightful
We
game.
got more of that coming up. Yeah.
I watch that. That's where I'll be. If I
Yeah.
get 10 straight Mahomes Super Bowls, that's where I'm gonna become Brandon Sprague and do NBA factoids every
Really?
Tuesday, and we're just gonna skip over the NFL.
You're going to get super into the hot stove
That's
stuff
it.
of baseball.
There you
Damn right I will. Did you see
Another
what Jerry
Blazer
DePoto said
Ford-
yesterday? He did a press conference. That was a thing.
I saw some moves happen, and people were like, man, the trades are hitting in every sport right now.
Jerry DePoto was like, yeah, we don't have any holes in our offensive lineup. He literally said that yesterday. We feel pretty good about where we're at. We're right in the mix. We don't have any holes.
Ready to hit that 54% winning percentage.
That's an actual quote from the general manager of the Seattle Mariners.
Oh, you know what? At least he's trying. He's out there trying.
He's out there giving an effort. Good try, Jerry. This year's going to be different.
Patrick Mahomes looking to be the first 44-year-old quarterback to win 13 straight Super Bowls.
What's the record for championships? He broke it a decade ago. Now he's just re-breaking his own
I'm
record.
asking sincerely, real quick, how many do they win in a row before even a Chiefs fan's like, all right, I mean, we're good, I know it, but I kind of want to see something different.
Probably take a year off, maybe make it feel special again. If you win 3 in a row, that third one's not like I can say my team didn't win 3 in a row, but the Giants won 3 in 5 years. The third one, I mean, you enjoy all of them. It loses some of its luster.
You don't
just
celebrate the same.
You don't celebrate the same. It's not the same feeling. You expect to win at that point.
You kind of want
You're
a little
like,
anger with your sports team,
Yes.
right? Like you want to carry a little bit of like, why are we so disappointing?
Right.
And then like, what are we doing?
You
And
need
then,
heartbreak.
How awesome are we?
Yes.
Like, you want a combination
Yeah,
of
that
emotion.
third Cowboy one in 4 years, I think, was that when they totally housed the Bills? I forget
believe
which
so.
one was first, if they housed them the first time and the second one was
I think the first one was close,
close,
if
and
I
the
remember.
second one they housed them.
Yeah, and it's over in the
didn't hit the
second
same,
quarter.
did it?
You're like,
Pretty much.
they're going to win. All right.
So like 7 straight
Another
Chiefs fans are
championship.
just like, yeah, the season's here, but
There's not a Georgia fan alive that will tell you beating TCU 65-7 was the same as when they beat Alabama and to win their first national championship. It just there's no way.
that'd be an interesting poll question. How many Super Bowls in a row before Kansas City is like tired of their own team winning?
The first one they beat the Bills 52-17.
I
Dear
thought they
God.
killed the Bills twice.
And then the second one was 30-13. I think the second one was the one that was close at halftime.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
the
then
And
first
then
one was just
Thurman Thomas
yeah.
fumbled, and the rest is history.
All right. Well, we didn't get to our Goodell audio. We got Goodell audio. We got some more stuff from the Super Bowl Media Day extravaganza that they had. But we start the second hour. The Trailblazers are the best team in the NBA since January 19th. Swag shaking his head. Nobody can believe it. Our pets' heads are falling off. We'll start there. Hour 2, Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
On the Fan.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
KFXX, KWJJ, HD2, Portland. An Odyssey Sports Station. Now, From the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys you can put your trust in. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on The Fan. Trailblazers picked up their 8th win in their last 9 games, doubling up on the Suns with a 121-119 overtime victory. DeAndre Ayton, 25 points, 20 rebounds to lead the way. Portland dropped 16 of their 43-point attempts and will look for a 5th straight win tonight. Indiana Pacers in town for a 7 o'clock tip. They just got past the Jazz, 112-111 Monday night. This one can be seen on KUNP, Xfinity Channel 1016. Blazers 5-point underdogs. TNT's doubleheader begins at 4:30 with the top 2 teams in the East. Cavaliers host the Celtics at 4:30. Cleveland a 2-point favorite. 7 o'clock, Battle of L.A. Lakers don't yet have Luka Doncic in uniform. They'll take on the Clippers as 8-point underdogs. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell had his State of the League press conference from the Super Bowl Monday, gave no timetable for when an 18-game schedule could be implemented. Said the league is looking to expand the use of video assist for officials next season and is continuing to test technology that will assist the officials with the spotting of the ball and determining first downs. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The home of prime time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7, 1080 The Fan. It's football's biggest week.
The only thing that makes it special, whether if we would got the rushing record during the season or if we get the all-time rushing record and playoffs included, the only thing that makes it special is winning the Super Bowl.
I try not to listen to it too much. I think more than anything, I just try to embrace who we have in this locker room and the personalities and how we enjoy playing football. And I believe if we play football the right way and we compete and go out there and play our best football, then I'll always have my guys' backs. And so we got a lot of good dudes in this locker room, and all we're going to do is compete and try to win football games.
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com. Injured? Don't trust just anyone to something so personal. Call George McCoy at Warren Allen. Online at WarrenAllen.com.
Super Week with Dirt and Sprague on 1080.
We know we're seeing something special.
The Fan.
All right, welcome back in the second hour. Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan, the Odyssey app, 99.5 HD2. And, of course, youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan. Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
I think it's really sexy.
Thank you. Good morning, Neil. Hope you're enjoying everything that's happening.
What's Neil Olshey up to right now?
He was an advisor for a while, and I heard he turned down the Piston job.
That's right. Was he going advising Philly? Is that where he was advising the 76ers?
I want to say it was Philly.
Sounds right.
So, that advice, I don't know if that was good advice. They're not doing particularly well.
No, people in Philly are calling for everything to be blown up at this point. Like, what are we doing here? We're 10 games below 500. We might as well tank the rest of the season and trade away all our assets.
Yeah, well, that's easier said than done. Just ask your Portland Trailblazers! Red hot and rolling. They beat the Phoenix Suns and complete the 2-game sweep over the Suns last night in an overtime thriller where I was fighting to keep one eye open because I just got hit like by a truck at 9:05 of just go to bed. And so I had the game on. I moved the antenna to my bedroom. I'm watching this. I'm slowly noticing that as the game's progressing, I'm laying down more and
slowly
more.
Leaning back in bed.
And I watch. They get to overtime, and they outduel Devin Booker and KD. They win 121 to 119. Couple notes here. With that win, they are the best team in basketball since January 19th. It is February 4th.
Yes, they are.
How about that? They also are about a game and a half back of the Spurs, and they're about 4.5 back, of the Warriors and the Suns, who are sitting in the 10 seed.
Yeah, it's reachable. It's within distance now.
Tamani Kamara had himself a night. He was 5 of 7 from 3. He had 17 points, 5 boards. He was a menace on defense as usual. DeAndre didn't shoot the ball efficiently, but he did finish with 25 points, 20 boards. Ant, who played 42 minutes, scored 13 points and had 10 dimes. And Scoot played 22 minutes, and Shea played 19.
Yes, he did.
Blazers red hot and rolling. They've won 8 of their last 9.
8 of their last 9. Break them up.
Deadline's on Thursday. Doubt we're trading anybody except
why would
maybe
you?
Rob Williams.
I think you keep everybody together. You got to make a push for the 10 seed at this point. I mean, I've always said if you can make the play-in the NBA playoffs, that's the exact spot you want to be in. It's right in that sweet spot of not competing and not being bad enough. First off, this game would not end last night. It would not, like that game would.
No,
the NBA has to do something with the end of NBA games. Like
a lot of reviews.
God, can we also just cut timeouts? Like, do I need because it's a 3-point game? So do I need foul, free throws, timeout, foul, free throws, timeout, foul, free throws, timeout, foul, free throws, timeout?
Well,
like,
the one spot,
somebody just shoot a 3 and end this game, okay?
Kevin Durant couldn't make.
Can we go into another
one.
overtime, or are we just ending the damn game? Can we please stop with this nonsense?
Well,
Holy
the spot
hell!
where you needed a foul to be
was
committed,
at the end of regulation, and they didn't do it.
Foul.
And then they fouled every time in overtime, and it just was that game. And then we had to. Did the ball hit the rim? Did the ball hit the rim? Let's review that for 5 minutes.
I thought that was fairly obvious. It didn't. I saw it in real time from a bad angle. I'm like, that didn't hit the rim.
Part of this was because I was laying in bed and really wanted to go to bed, and I was tired, and I'm just like,
angry?
why won't this
They
game
won 8
end?
of 9.
That makes me angry.
One
as
more
well.
win, and they hit the over, by the way, for the year.
Yes, before the All-Star break, which would be remarkable. But I keep
be
being
tonight.
told that they're not going to.
That's right.
They're only going to win 3 or 4 more games the rest of the year. I feel like that's been said now for like a month. They're only like 2 more wins on the schedule. Don't worry, they're not going to win that.
Not if
and then they just
keep doing this.
keep piling up wins. At this point, I think we bring Chauncey back because he's proving himself as a head coach. So we might as well go ahead and pick up that next year option, or I'd give him a new 5-year deal probably at this rate. I stayed up for one reason, and it was because I was curious how overtime was going to shake out. Now, I knew how it was in my head, but if you're wondering, I did run a stopwatch at home, counting the minutes that your top 10 picks played in overtime.
Oh, God, this again.
You know what the total time was?
In overtime?
In overtime.
It probably was
For
only Scoot, and I would say maybe a minute.
Hey, don't you shortchange Donovan Clingan. He got in overtime as well,
Did
okay?
he?
Shaden
Okay.
Sharp only played 19 minutes because, that guy's a
Clingan
bum.
came
Sit
in
his ass on the bench.
to get some rebounds on the free throws at the very end.
Shaden was bad defensively.
Your 3 top 10 picks combined played 15 seconds in overtime.
Okay.
2 5-second stints from Scoot and a 5-second stint from Donovan Clingan to go grab a rebound.
Tamani led everybody in minutes. He played 45 minutes last night.
He was outstanding.
He was the best Blazer on the floor.
Avdia had another unbelievable game.
If you want to just be really honest about it, he's been the best Blazer.
Yeah.
Him and Avdia, too. I mean, Avdia deserves that credit as well.
I like Avdia, and also if the Blazers can turn this around at some point and actually become a good team in the West, like this is fun. They're hot, right? They're rolling. But if they cannot be 21-29, they can be more 29-21.
Yeah.
If they get to that point and they got some of the makeup of this team, Avdia is going to piss me off at some point. Because I don't know if you guys have seen this. He has been good. I'm giving him his flowers. The one little thing he does from time to time that I'm like, oh. If he gets the ball, he's just kind of a wrecking ball going down the paint. He is 100 miles an hour at all times, and sometimes that bites him. Sometimes.
A little too quick. Gotta
Bad
slow
shot,
down.
turnover. Yeah, and sometimes he creates fouls with it, and he also gets easy buckets.
Little Westbrook there.
There's a little Westbrook in him when he does that, and the times when it doesn't work, I'm like, pull it out, pull back, pull back. I got a kid on my team. I nicknamed her Beep Beep. She's the fastest kid on my team. She does this.
Just full speed.
Full speed, and sometimes it turns into a tumbling pile of smoke, and I'm like, that's 3 turnovers.
You got to slow down.
So I'm like, hey, Beep Beep, I need you to just pull it back, pull it back. Let's run some offense a little bit here.
Let's go half-court set here. Somebody set a screen, somebody move, somebody cut.
But Tamani, I mean, there's no doubt anybody in the Phoenix Suns organization.
That was a tough one for them to watch last night.
Watching him play this year has got to just be brutal.
Honestly, when you look at Phoenix, probably one of I mean, I don't know how
Imagine if they had him with that team.
That's like a missing link for them.
It's huge.
Dude, when you look at their starting lineup, it's unbelievable. Durant had 27. Booker had 34. Their other 3 starters combined for 2 points.
I know, 0-2.
They don't even play Yusuf Nurkic anymore. He just sits on the bench in a sweatsuit with a hood on. Like he doesn't.
They hate him.
They hate
hate him.
Should, and we kind of got there too. At the end, we all know why they hate him. We remember that vividly. How that all ended when he was in Portland.
Booker set the all-time
scoring
record.
Yeah, he hit it. The crowd gave him some flowers.
Of the youngins hit the Google machine and looked up Walter Davis, the Greyhound. He was fantastic.
Mason gave him like an announcement in the arena that was really cool.
Yes,
but
it was.
They're playing good basketball, man. And all jokes aside, right now they're tied with the Bulls, the Spurs in the win column.
And the Bulls just traded away their best player and got essentially nothing in return, and they have signaled what their plans and intentions are the rest of the season.
Well, they can get rid of Vucevic. They will. So the Bulls are going to just really hit the skids here.
Yeah, they might not win another game the rest of the season.
The Spurs, I would imagine, go up. And then the Hawks, it's funny. Trae Young hit a game winner last night in Detroit.
Yes, he did.
And I just kept thinking how funny it kind of is that Atlanta still has Trae Young and Dallas doesn't have Doncic. After all the crap they took, and Atlanta's not been great.
No.
But they do have a random East Finals appearance in this Trae Young era.
They do.
And it's just kind of funny that both don't have a ring with the stars that they drafted, but we give Atlanta grief, and Atlanta's like, what if we just keep morphing around Trae Young?
Keep
and
trying
Dallas is
different
like,
things.
Luka's fat. We're getting rid of him.
He drinks too much, eats too much ice cream. Get him out of here. Guy's a bum.
Dude, this is not going to stop. They've got the Pacers tonight, and they're both on back-to-backs. The Pacers are coming from Salt Lake.
Yeah,
which
and
is...
they played a 1-point game. They grinded out at the end. Pascal Siakam had to rescue him.
But if you play the schedule game, because I want to keep playing this, they've won, again, 8 of their last 9. Now, they have beaten some bad teams, but they got to win over
there's playoff caliber teams in there.
Yeah, Miami. Orlando. Phoenix right now is in the play-in.
Yeah.
Indiana tonight. Sacramento on Thursday, so no more Fox.
Nope.
So you get this new look weird King team.
Is Levine already playing, though? That's the other question you got with some of these new teams. I don't know how many of these guys are already jumping into the lineup.
I have to go check a Sacramento account to see. And then you've got at Minnesota, at Denver back-to-back. And then you come home for potentially Luka. And if you want to know if he's playing or not, I can't answer that confidently. I'll just say, go check all the secondary ticket websites, because if you want to sit in the 100 section, you're spending 4 G's.
Holy
2
hell.
G's. $1,500 for tickets.
What if he doesn't play?
It's going to be a bad timing for
See
you.
him in a sweatsuit. What's up, Luka?
I get it. You're trying to capitalize. It's capitalism, but legitimately, these tickets right now are 2 G's.
That is insanity.
$1,800.
That is absolute insanity.
I
just, I don't know.
Those are going to be all Laker fans.
Yeah, this is not gonna. This is not gonna stop. The way that they're playing their. You had guys last night. Go through the minutes breakdown, man.
Oh, it's all vets.
Shaedon Sharp played 19 minutes last night.
He wasn't good defensively.
I'm not saying
but
he was
again,
good defensively.
I tend to be more on the side of
21 years old.
22 minutes for Scoot, who had a great third quarter.
Yes, Ant played 42. Scoot played 22. Jeremy Grant played 41 minutes. Shaedon Sharp played 19. DeAndre Ayton played 42 minutes. Donovan Clingan played 10.
Donovan's interesting.
I can't do anything but laugh at it at this point. This is hilarious.
They've gone the other way.
Blazer fans are returning. The environment's great. Isn't this fun? Wow, this is so much fun.
Why do you gotta pee in our Cheerios, man?
I'll pee in your
regarding
Cheerios every day.
Klingen's minutes, there's not good matchups for him the way Phoenix plays
Well,
other than Plumlee.
Can we just say the thing about Donovan that we all know? He doesn't look like he's quite in NBA shape.
Yeah.
Can we admit that? Is that controversial? He's young. He'll learn.
Leave him out there for 30 minutes and let him figure it out.
He could play for 15.
He could easily play for
5 more minutes is not going to make
Can I get
or break
to 20?
Donovan
Can I get to
Clingan.
20? Is 20 minutes too many to ask for? Is that too many to ask?
Don't double that.
Was able to do that at UConn every game. Is that too much to ask for? First season in the NBA.
Look, Shaedon,
top 10 pick. No.
This is the weird thing. They've won 8 of 9.
They
So
have.
all of the things you're highlighting, that Mike Richmond's highlighting, that I'm highlighting, that Eric Gunderson's highlighting, they're winning.
They are.
So, are we wrong?
Yeah.
I got one rule
We're
now.
wrong.
No, the Blazers are wrong.
The
for doing
Blazers
this.
are wrong.
Yes, without a doubt they're wrong.
Scoot not getting any look in the final minute 50 was just bizarre to me.
Being subbed in because of foul situations for a total of 10 seconds in overtime. The guy's in his second year in the NBA, and you're not allowing him to run an offense to close out a game.
And that's the thing is his numbers 15 and 6. He's running the offense. He's got infectious energy.
Yep.
You see him when he gives somebody a lob or a nice little out at the 3 and they hit it.
He is on a nice 5 to 6 week stretch
Guy
now
feels
playing
good.
basketball.
It looks like he's somebody who's feeling good about the way he's playing.
And we're playing Anthony Simons 20 more minutes than him a night. It's insanity to me.
He was 4 of 16 by the way.
I will continue to lose my mind every time I'm watching this. I can't make sense of it. I don't understand. We have one silver lining, one hope left, and it's in the next 48 hours. that something goes down and this log jam gets cleared out.
There's no noise on
but
Grant,
there is
Ayton,
no
or
noise.
Simons.
Ayton's not going anywhere. Robert Williams is the most likely.
The Lakers might be in on him for a couple seconds.
I obviously didn't see Luka Doncic getting traded, so I'm not going to rule anything out. The NBA continues to throw curveballs at us, but that's our only silver lining the rest of the way. Because if you keep this going and you keep winning games and you keep bringing your top 10 picks off the bench, there is a small percentage of Blazer fans that will love every second of this. And golly gee willikers, this is fun. We're winning games. In the grand scheme of things, it's the worst thing that you could be doing right now. And they've essentially locked themselves out of a top 5 pick, or
I mean,
top 5 lottery.
Statistically speaking,
it's done.
They don't.
Now you're just at this point hoping, can we get a top 10 pick out of this?
I just ran a sim mock draft. They finished with the 9th pick.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you can't find a difference maker or a star with the 9th overall
Jeremiah
pick.
Fears,
Yeah.
Oklahoma point guard.
There you go.
How about that?
I haven't watched much Oklahoma basketball this year.
We would lose out on Harper, Flag, Bailey, Kasparis from Illinois, Edgecombe, Knipple.
You know what year I'm honestly...
Igor Denham.
How do you not like a Knipple in Portland?
Or Demon.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the year that we had Nurk Fever. When Portland was careening towards a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
They made that random trade that they didn't even mean to get Nurkic. I don't even know if he was the centerpiece of it. It was more for a draft pick. They got Nurkic, and all of a sudden it was like, hey, this is fun. They made the playoffs as an 8 seed. How'd that playoff series go?
I don't think they won it.
They got swept in the first round. That's how it went.
That was the Tatum draft?
That was the Tatum draft.
Right?
They were careening towards
They
a
were
top
kinda
5
going
pick
that direction
for a chance to draft Jason Tatum, and instead they made the playoffs and were an 8 seed, and how did that all work out in the Dame era?
We have a lot more to get into. We're going to go to Cleveland for the ticker today. Cameron Justice is going to join us. She is a news anchor down there. Myles Garrett's requested a trade. How is that sticking in Cleveland? Also, the Cavs are kind of red hot. She's got a Cleveland Cavaliers shoot-around to attend right after our interview, so we can kind of dabble in both of those. It's a Mail Sack Tuesday. Dirt and Sprague back with more on The Fan.
clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets.
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
On 1080 The Fan.
You know what time it is? It's time for your daily entry into the Slam Dunk in Vegas contest. Entering's easy. Download the free Odyssey app, log in, listen to the Fan, or any station each day for a minimum of 1 hour for your daily entry. The winner of this national contest will receive travel and accommodations for 4 to Vegas, $20,000 in spending money. That's $5,000 for each of you for the ultimate viewing experience for the college basketball championship. Come back each day and listen for another hour to add another chance to win. Keep listening. And for more info, go to 1080thefan.com.
I think it's really sexy.
Yes, you do. We're going to go to
Really sexy.
Cleveland, Ohio for the Daily Ticker today.
Speaking of sexy, Cleveland sexy.
Okay.
I didn't know where you're going with that.
Well.
Hell.
You don't want to guess.
No, I was talking about the city.
Okay, all right.
Okay, yeah.
You've been to Cleveland?
We went through Cleveland for our
But
trip
have
to...
you been in Cleveland?
Not recently.
You haven't been inside
Have you
Cleveland?
been inside Cleveland?
No.
No. Huh?
Been through the Cleveland airport.
You've only been through the Cleveland airport and you're concluding Cleveland is sexy.
You thought it was sexy, huh?
Yeah.
Sexy city?
That's like me going to South Korea and taking the
didn't
best
expect that.
airport crap in my life and telling you South Korea is pretty awesome. I mean, I was at the airport.
I think I probably put my foot in my mouth.
South Korea's airport is spectacular, by the way.
I haven't seen our new airport yet. Have you guys seen our new airport? You probably have.
Only
You've been over
photos.
there
Several times.
Yeah.
Only
The
photos.
photos look badass.
So the only thing now is the center of it where you go in and check your bags in for the different airlines, it's fantastic. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now, but the problem is when you return, you have to go through an American Gladiator like obstacle course to get to baggage claim.
Ah.
I remember when they were building it, going
Yeah.
to the C, what is that? The C, what am I trying to say?
Sea terminal.
The C terminal, thank you.
Terminal.
Man, that walk was long.
The long walk. You
Yeah.
got to go all the way. We got to
So
go
now-
around.
so
I got to go the
the
long
center
way.
of it is all they're done and nice and great, and now they're working on the two outside edges.
Yeah.
So yeah,
One listener says, I've spent more time than I'd like to in Cleveland. There's about 78 words I'd use to describe that city before Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't think sexy is what's coming. I don't know. That's the first one that pops into my mind. But I've also never been to Cleveland, so to each their own.
Me either. We've got the mail sack at 8:15, so get the mail sack questions in at the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. They shoot you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them at vancouverford.com. We got Roger Goodell audio as well, and we've got some player audio from the NFL Media Night, previewing the Super Bowl.
Happy Super Week.
Couple thoughts. Could the Blazers just be showcasing players they want to trade? Very fair question
that's
given
what
the
we're all
deadline.
hoping.
But I would also argue this is kind of what they've been doing.
But they've been doing this for like 4 weeks.
The long
You mean the
showcase.
season. I would say the season.
Would argue the entire year.
Season is
that,
this is what they've been doing.
Yeah, if you want to be a glass half full guy, sure. That would be the hope, is that those guys are going to get dealt at the deadline. I have a hard time seeing it happen. I genuinely do.
No, you would have a hard time seeing Luka Doncic get
No doubt
traded.
about it. No doubt about it. Maybe we end up being surprised. I will come on the air. Wouldn't it be Friday? Because the deadline's Thursday afternoon,
It's
right?
Thursday at like 1
1 o'clock. So our show would be Friday. So we'll come on the air Friday and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to come on and say I was wrong. Thank you, Joe Cronin. Let's clear the runway for the young guys. These guys are all going to start now. Really positive storylines, man. The way two played, not surprising against a former team. He was outstanding
Dude,
last night.
he
has been awesome.
Yeah, and I know.
I hate that these guys. I hate that playing the vets in the minute totals.
Yeah.
This is
It's
one
something
of,
standing out to
It's
you.
standing out to me, and it's distracting me away from appreciating the development and the storylines that should be highlighted in a year that was about developing your young players, but instead it's Jeremy Grant, Anthony Simons, and DeAndre Ayton playing 45 minutes a night.
Well, it's not that we're. To me, I'm doing both. I'm like, yo, I'd love to see Scoot right now, but you're not playing him. And then like Tumani hits another three, and I go,
yeah, that's awesome.
But if you would have told me,
we should have both.
Well, if you would have told me going into the year that the young guy getting the minutes and the run is Tumani, I would say, well, how good does that look? And then also, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Where are the other minutes going?
And again, I know defense is important. I'm not trying to belittle that. Somebody says Sharp's defense always goes with how the game is going. When he just has to stand in the corner every offensive set, for the most part, his defense suffers. I mean, Chauncey, we just played the clip, like, what, a game or two ago? And he's like,
Angry Shea.
Mad Shaden is amazing. punch him.
Yeah, that's
Give
your
him a dead
job
arm, man.
as a coach, to get him angry every game and to give him a reason to play hard.
When I was in 4th grade, my mom had to drop me off at elementary school super early, and I would be the first kid there outside because my school didn't let you come in until it was like school time.
Yeah.
So it'd be this weather, and I would be outside.
Just sitting there.
And there was a kid that used to show up. I grew up with him, and he still kind of was like a little bit of a bully. And he used to show up, and we had to like stand in lines of where your class was, and I knew where my class was, so I was just in line. And he'd just come up, it'd just be me and him talking. And all of a sudden, not looking, he'd flick my ear, which was frozen.
Yeah, standing outside, frozen ear.
And I can't tell you how much that hurt. And I wish Chauncey Billups would do that to Shaden Sharp.
Yes.
Piss him off. Whatever it takes.
How you never punch that kid in the face is remarkable. And a cold ear flick, that's tough.
He probably would have pummeled me. He was a little bigger.
Yeah.
That's like fat. He was
just
fat.
Snap one of these
days.
He was
a fat kid.
Turn around, pop him once in the face.
I mean, I could
crying.
outran him.
Gives you one of those right out of the gate.
Let's go to Cleveland, Ohio. Myles Garrett is asking for a trade out of Cleveland. The Cavaliers are red hot and rolling. We may get back into Luka Doncic stuff. We got NFL audio to get to, but the Daily Ticker goes to Cleveland, Ohio. Cameron Justice joins us for the Daily Ticker next on The Fan.
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan. Much to the chagrin of some fans, the Trailblazers just keep winning. Their 8th victory in their last 9 games came Monday night, holding off the Suns in overtime, 121-119. DeAndre Ayton leading 6 Blazers in double figures with 25 points and 20 rebounds. They'll go for a 5th straight win tonight, hosting the Pacers at 7 o'clock. Indiana rallied in Salt Lake to beat the Jazz 112-111 Monday night. This one's on KUNT Xfinity Channel 1016. Blazers 5-point underdogs. TNT's doubleheader tonight starts with the top 2 teams in the East. Cavaliers hosting the Celtics at 4:30. Cleveland 2-point favorites. At 7 o'clock, the 2 LA teams will do battle. Lakers not expected to have Luka Doncic in uniform just yet, taking on the Clips, who are 8-point favorites. While the Browns are on the record saying they have no interest in trading defensive end Myles Garrett despite his request to be moved, the Rams have told wide receiver Cooper Kupp they are trying to trade him before next season, although Kupp would like to stay in L.A. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Did you score a smart speaker? of Dirt and Sprague
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
on 1080 The Fan. In this wide world of sports, some stories can slip through the cracks.
Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules.
Pelican Brewing presents The Daily Ticker, where Dirt and Sprague hit the big stories you've heard about, and some you haven't.
How'd you do that? Actually, I'm not even mad. It's amazing.
The Daily Ticker with Dirt and Sprague is poured by Pelican Brewing, your local coastal brewery. Independently brewing since 1996. Pelican Brewing, born at the beach.
All right, Daily Ticker time on a Tuesday, brought to you as always by our good friends at Pelican Brewing. 4 locations along the Oregon coast. Fly over to a Pelican location, enjoy epic views, local brews. All year long, Pelican Brewing looks forward to seeing you at the coast. Everybody's focused on NBA trades. Luka Doncic gets dealt. We're all wondering, are the Blazers going to do anything on Thursday? And then Myles Garrett's like, hey, hold my beer. We're the NFL, and we take the cake here.
We want in on this.
And we want in on some of this trade activity. Joining us now from Cleveland is Cameron Justice. You can give her a follow on Twitter at Cammy Justice from ABC News 5 in Cleveland. Cameron, good morning to you. I don't know if people were out there were shocked by this. What was the reaction? Myles Garrett coming out and saying, you know what, I want a chance to win. We don't have that in the short term, and please trade me Cleveland.
Oh, it was definitely shocking, but I'll say this, it wasn't as if it came out of the blue. Myles Garrett said at the end of the season that he wanted to see a plan from the Browns moving forward. You know, when your team goes 3-14 and you don't have any idea what you're going to do at quarterback, you want to know what's happening. And Myles Garrett's the kind of guy that he's knocked off so many checklists on his goals, from DPOY to these different NFL franchise records. And the only thing really left for him on this path to the Hall of Fame is to win a Super Bowl. So he wanted to see if the Browns were going to be able to put them in a position to do that. And it doesn't feel like whatever plan they laid out to him is strong enough in his opinion, which is where this comes from. But, you know, everyone assumed that Myles Garrett was going to retire a Cleveland Brown, and that maybe not out of the cards just yet. It's just a trade request, so we'll see how it plays out. But I think that was the most shocking part, was to hear the words, I'm requesting a trade, out of a guy that everyone is, he's the face of the franchise. He's the guy. So that was, you know, that jarring part of it.
How truly depressed are Browns fans right now? The Watson thing's not worked. He got injured again. You've got Myles Garrett asking out. The team was not good this year. Like, where is this just temperature check in the city of Cleveland? I know the Cavs are playing good basketball. Where are the football fans at right now with what this franchise is?
Yeah, the Cavs are the saving grace of Cleveland right now. And then, of course, the Guardians tend to play well, too. But, yeah, with Browns fans, it is so heavy football in Cleveland. And, you know, for decades, this has been the story of the Browns franchise and of the fan base, of just disappointment after disappointment. In 2020, things kind of took a turn, and it felt like things were going up, and they were. But, you know, since the Deshaun Watson trade that has inevitably failed on every level, it's just been back to that misery, but now tenfold, because at least before it was, you know, you're building towards something. There's a hope. There's this light at the end of the tunnel. Like, eventually they're going to figure it out. Will they go and make the move for the quarterback, which is what they've been looking to do for decades, and it fails. And now you're in a place where, oh, okay, you're not just dealing with disappointment. You are going back into the potential of a rebuild mode.
Right.
And that's another reason why, you know, I think Myles Garrett requested this trade, because he has no desire to be a part of a rebuild. He was part of the building process for the first part of his career here. And then now, because of all of this, you have Joel Bitonio, who is a staple on the offensive line, who is considering retirement. This might be the push that takes him into retirement. And then now you have a question mark at left guard on offensive line that has already been dwindled and already has so many question marks. So for the fan base to see all of these question marks pop back up and this dysfunction seep its way back in, you know, I know it's frustrating for them. We had a small group of fans last night outside of the stadium protesting the organization, burning a couple jerseys. There wasn't many of them, but they came out on 5 o'clock on a Monday. So that tells you a little bit of where the fan base is.
Yeah. Good for those fans. Last
dozens
one,
of us.
There's dozens of us. Last one I got for you, Cameron. You mentioned just where they're at, and this is so easy for me to say, sitting in Portland, Oregon, and not fully understanding everything that fan base has been through over the last 20 years. They have the number 2 overall pick in the draft. The quarterback class in this draft is not great. Is this a good time to hit the reset button? Again, easier said than done. I'm not a fan, so I don't have to live through it. But getting a pick haul for Garrett, maybe trading back with the number 2 overall pick and just saying, let's start this over, is that the right strategy moving forward?
I don't think that's the strategy they want to go to. In fact, I know that's not the strategy they want to go to. They are very clear that they do not want to move on for Myles Garrett, despite, his trade requests are saying they're not entertaining any trade offers. Now, obviously, the right deal comes along. You can't say no, especially if he doesn't want to be here, if he truly doesn't want to be here. But we've been through this before here in Cleveland. Like, we've seen this with players on the Browns. David Njoku, who has become this incredible tight end for the Browns, wanted out. He requested a trade in 2020, and now he's since got an extension, and they'll probably be working on an extension with him soon, too, as well. So it feels like that's not their path, but if there is no other way, you have to get a haul. You have to set yourself up for success, because now you have, not only do you have question marks at, quarterback, on the offensive line, your depth at linebacker, and all these different positions, now you're losing the absolute engine of the defense is Myles Garrett. So you would have to be able to not only hit and find star players in the draft, but you'd have to get that capital so that you could continue to build. But at this point, that's not where they're at. They don't want to go back to that point, because that ultimately is admitting pure failure.
Right, and I feel bad for those fans. It's tough. At least they got the Cavs. Maybe the Cavs won the NBA Finals this year. At least there's one silver lining for them. Cameron Justice covering all the Cleveland sports scene for ABC News 5 there in Cleveland. Cameron, thanks so much for the time this morning, the update on what's going on with the Brownies, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Please do. I love the Pacific Northwest, so anytime you have me on, I'll be here.
Awesome. That's great stuff. Cameron Justice covering the Cleveland Browns as Myles Garrett yesterday.
You literally have the second pick in the draft, I would argue. Like, you're acting like your culture has been winning.
We can't reset.
That's crazy. We can't reset. You have the second pick in the draft.
You know who they remind me of, honestly, in another sport, and I argued this, I think, on the show yesterday. They remind me of the Kings in the NBA.
Oh, the Kings.
Like, it's a lot easier said than done. Like, I look at the Sacramento Kings and getting Zach LaVine, and I don't know if they're going to reroute him, but I'm like, what are you doing? Why? Is that the path? Like, but it's so much easier said than done, because they rebuilt for 20. They were building for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And so now you turn around, they just made the playoffs, ended that drought. There was all this hope and promise. And then it's like, oh, JK, we're going to start all over again. You're going to lose your fan base. Like, they're just going to, and I don't know if that happens in Cleveland, because for some reason they still went to games for 20 years with bags on their head watching Johnny Manziel play quarterback, but it's a lot easier said than done. But that's exactly what Cleveland should do. You should get 2 first-round picks for Myles Garrett, trade out of the number 2 overall pick, move down in the draft, find some team that's dumb and desperate for one of these quarterbacks, pick up another future first-round pick and say, sorry, guys, we got to hit the reset button. But when you've been nothing but a bad team and a building team for 20 years, 25 years, it's easier said than done.
Well, you tend to be bad because you don't make the right decisions at the right time.
Yes.
And look, Andrew Berry, Stefanski, they want to win. They may not have the leeway to hit a reset fully. But, like, you just look at this and do you look at them and you say,
no,
they're going to fix it all in one off season?
You're in the same division as Lamar
and
and Joe Burrow.
7-10 next year.
Right. The Steelers were always over 500.
If they're having a good year, they're going to be like 8-9.
Yes.
And it's like, they missed the playoffs again. And then what? They fire Stefanski and Barry, and guess what you're going to do?
And you're in no man's land.
Then you're in a full reset. Yeah. It feels like one of those teams that's going to kick the can down the road and make somebody else, the new regime, do it.
Definitely will. Over the last 2 years, Myles Garrett is second league-wide in pass rush win rate to Micah Parsons is number 1, despite being doubled 30% of the time. He ranks first in both incompletions and interceptions created through pressure, and he is first in forced fumbles.
Your package in that trade may not be amazing, but you could get some decent stuff And we listed some teams yesterday. I mean, there's 9 other teams we didn't even bring up
that could jump into the fray.
That would all be interested in having a Myles Garrett on their team.
You do have to have the financial space for it because he will want a new contract upon trade. He's got, I think, 1 more year left on his deal. So that'll be a part of this, is him wanting an extension and probably to be the highest paid or one of the highest paid players on defense in
Andrew
the NFL.
Berry says he's not going to trade him. He wouldn't trade him for 2 firsts.
He said he wouldn't do it for 2 firsts.
That's what he said.
All right, we'll see how that all works out. And is Myles Garrett willing to hold out and not show up to camp next year? If this whole thing drags out, we'll have to wait and see. There's also a date coming up. I think it's like March 15th, that if they trade him after that date, there's not a dead cap money hit or something on their books. So nothing's going to happen in the next couple of weeks on this. It'll lead into the spring and the summer and leading into the draft. A couple other NFL notes I want to get to, including anything left in the tank for this guy. We'll get to that coming up next on The Fan.
Who's stinking it up?
Woo! Do not go in there.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up, a sports lowlight that's ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Schedule your appointment online at threemountainshomservices.com.
Harris gets a screen from Dickinson, throws it back to him. Left side, Storr wants a 3. In and out, no good. Stick back, though, right up and in. Hunter Dickinson was Johnny on the spot.
Sounds like swag in day 3 at the Les Schwab. There is Learfield's Jayhawks radio. Dickinson with 14-9-4. Kansas beating Iowa State by 17 last night. Iowa State's 3rd straight loss by 10 points, their longest since their coach took over.
Look, I only have enough room for one basketball league in my life last night. Last night it was the NBA. I watched Rockets and Knicks, but college hoops has been entertaining the last couple of weeks. I'll give you that.
Who's stinking it up? The Iowa State Cyclones right now. Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Make your home services delightful. Let the pros tackle the project you need completed. Schedule an appointment online. Three Mountains Home Services. That's threemountainshomservices.com.
It's crunch time. Let's go! Where Dirt and Sprague crunch the hot topics you want to hear.
What's the pressure? Don't sit here and act like there's no... We get nervous teeing off in front of a gallery on the 10th hole at Eastmoreland.
Crunch time, brought to you by Crunch Fitness, with memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com.
Hey, Crunch Time, brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 a month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, online at crunch.com. Got a lot to get to in the final hour. Got some more fallout from the Luka Doncic trade on both sides. We'll get to that. Roger Goodell talked at his State of the NFL Union last night. It is Super Bowl week, so we'll dive into a little bit of that. And the mail sack is coming up. Get your questions into the Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. Myles Garrett is demanding a trade from Cleveland, and the Los Angeles Rams are demanding that Cooper Kupp no longer play for their team. They came out yesterday. Well, Cooper Kupp, I think, was the one that announced
He broke it.
Himself. He took the power back from the organization and said, they're telling me they don't want me to be here anymore, and they're going to trade me this offseason. He is 31 years old, I believe, currently. Cooper Kupp is. Injury-riddled last couple of years. Mm-hmm. He was one of the first draft picks of the Sean McVay era in Los Angeles when he took over. Has had a remarkable run, and it did make me wonder, do we think there's anything left in the Cooper Kupp tank? And if you were a team looking for a weapon, would a 31-year-old Cooper Kupp make sense to you?
Well, what's his cap hit?
That is the big question out of all of this.
I think his contract is a little pricey.
I think there's a decent chance on this that he is not traded. I think there's a pretty decent chance.
There's more people saying he's not going to be a Ram next year than...
Well, no, I'm saying he's not going to be a Ram. I wouldn't be shocked if this ends up being a situation where he gets cut and somebody signs him in the offseason. So I think they're going to try and look to trade him, obviously.
He'll be a $29.7 million cap hit.
Yes. If he is traded, his new team is going to inherit a $20 million salary in 2025. It's a $7.5 million roster bonus, a $12.5 million base salary, and $19.85 in 2026, unless his contract is renegotiated. Now, I believe there's a date coming up in which there's a cap hit that the Rams will have to pay, that they're going to try and do their best to get rid of him before that date. But if they can't, he's got a $7.5 million roster bonus that the Rams will have to pay. So I think they're going to try and trade him. But if not, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they cut him. And if you're an NFL team, I'd probably wait for him to get cut to go get him instead of trading for that contract.
He's odd because he was the MVP in the Super Bowl.
He was.
We had conversations about, oh my God, he's the best receiver in football. Nobody talked about him. He came out of Eastern Washington, so we kind of knew of his name. We watched him play locally against some of the local schools, but
he had 1,947 receiving yards and 16 touchdowns the year they won the Super Bowl.
And like that doesn't
that's insane.
That doesn't feel like that long ago.
It was 2021.
And yet if you go look at his numbers the last couple years, he's been just banged to hell. And he's not productive.
Has not played more than 12 games the last 3 years.
This year is a good example of this. Like, he still kind of gets mentioned. And I think most football diehards have picked up on his fall. But, like, you'd still kind of hear, you're the Rams and Nakua and Kupp. Not really. More like Washington and Nakua.
Yeah, he had 700 yards, 6 touchdowns this year in 12 games.
And so, like, his production's just dropped. Now, will he land with some good team that isn't going to ask him to do the world and then, like, come up with some big catches in big games?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if that happens. I certainly wouldn't pick him up on this deal.
No, I think that's the first tough part for the Rams in trying to get rid of this, and why they're trying to trade him is they realize that we don't want this cap hit on the bookies either.
Seattle has completely restarted their entire offense. They hired Kubiak. He brought in 2 or 3 new people yesterday. They're going to look to revamp things, and Tyler Lockett might be done. But you don't want to bring in that contract to fill the Tyler Lockett spot.
No.
That's something that you wait to see how all of that shakes out. And if you can pick up and convince him, hey, come home. I mean, he was living in Wilsonville here up until, like, last year.
He was, yeah.
If you could convince him to go back to Washington State, then sure, maybe it makes sense on a cheaper situation. But I'm looking at his deal here. He has a potential out in 2025. So I'm not Mr. Capologist. I'd have to go and read how this all shakes out. I don't know why you'd opt out of that deal. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I don't know who's...
You're not going to make that kind of money on the market.
No, and that's where I don't know whose side on, and that's where I think it's tough. Where he's clearly not going to opt out of the deal, and the Rams don't want to pay him for the rest of that contract.
It was a
3-year,
$3-year, $80 million
deal.
It was a great deal for him.
It's another reminder too of just how quickly things can change in that league. I mean, to your point, in 2021, he was always a good receiver. He dealt with some injuries early in his career. Really popped kind of in year 3. He had 1,100 yards in his third year in L.A., 10 touchdowns, and that was you're like, damn, all right, there's something here.
Yeah.
And then they bring in Stafford in 21. He has almost 2,000 yards. He's the best wide receiver in football that year.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl MVP, and then you play 9 games the next year because he can't stay healthy, 12 games the next year, and then 12 games this past year, and he went from 812 yards to 737 yards to 710 yards.
Yeah. And then Nakua came in.
And then Nakua came in, and he became the number 1 guy. And so I think that's the other part of this equation for the Rams. If you could get him, like, obviously, again, you got to get rid of this contract because you don't want a $30 million cap hit with Cooper Kupp on your team next year. That's insanity at the age of 32. But you pick this guy up off the scrap heap, man. I look around. He had a thing in his tweet about moving on. He said, I always felt like L.A. was going to be home. And one of the thoughts I was, how about an $8 million deal to go play for the Chargers, who are desperate for people? Do you have a pulse and can you catch a football? Because if you do, you might be the number 1 wide receiver for the LA Chargers.
Well, especially if he's more of a possession route runner guy at this point in his career. For Justin Herbert on
that's
third
what Keenan
downs.
Allen was essentially. Keenan Allen wasn't a game changer.
Third down
speed-wise.
and 5. I need to move the sticks. Where's Kupp?
He's an Edelman.
Yeah,
right. He's at this point. He's
underneath,
an Edelman. Yes.
smart.
So,
he understands
but
coverages.
The Chargers don't want to use up cap to take him on a trade.
Well, but also, like, we need to just be honest about this too. You can't look at him and simply say, if financially you can make it work. Oh, he'd be perfect for, let's just use the Chargers.
The Bills are getting thrown around with this one as well.
I mean, yeah, on paper and in theory, he can't stay healthy. So, why are we acting as if they're going to be able to rely on him in January?
Yeah, to me, it's not about having a guy be your number 1 option. It'd be like, hopefully you make another move for another wide receiver, but you lose out on the rest of the lottery maybe of wide receivers.
But he can't stay healthy. So, whether he's a 3, a 4, a 1, it doesn't matter. If he can't play in January, none of that matters.
Yeah, the Chargers don't have many people that can catch the football. That's the only reason I'd rather throw to Cooper Kupp and rely on him than Will Dissly late in the year.
I also would rather draft more targets.
I would
or
too.
Offer T. Higgins a big
I would
deal.
too. I absolutely would
You know
too.
what I mean?
He's not high on my list.
Yeah.
This is let's circle back. Let's see if you're still around come draft time, or see how this all shakes out. And you're desperate for a spot. We need a wide receiver. We got like $5 million here. You go.
It's a nice reminder how short-lived some of this can be for a lot of guys.
Yep.
Like, this dude legitimately had a year where, I think he's the best receiver in football.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't pop the way athletically some of the other guys did, he just knew how to run routes. He had reliable hands. He knew how to find those spots in the zones. And then just instantaneously, as quickly as we said he's the best, he can't stay healthy and play, and we don't talk about him anymore.
He's only 31 years old.
That's what I'm saying is this idea that these guys play till they're 36, 37, 40, that's just not real. Right. And unfortunately for him, it came a little quicker, I think, than most thought it would.
Yeah, it did. So he announced himself yesterday, the Rams are going to trade me. So we'll see what happens to Cooper Kupp. I imagine he will end up getting cut before some of those roster bonuses kick in. I don't think anybody's going to trade for him.
A little bizarre
on that deal
to put out a graphic letter type thing when you haven't.
He hasn't actually been traded yet. He's still
Myles
technically
Garrett
a Ram.
Requested a trade. He's also an all-time edge rusher. So, I kind of get it. The big trade request with a big graphic.
Yeah.
A guy Luka Doncic gets traded. Thank you, Dallas and your fans. I get it. Hey, they want to trade me. Thought I was going to be here forever.
Thanks, L.A.
Sign Cooper. What? We're doing graphics for that now?
Getting out in front of it, man. You take the power of the message back. Cooper Kupp. We'll see what ends up happening with him and if he's got anything left in the tank. Eastern Washington. Legend. We got a lot to get to in the final hour of the show. Crunch Time brought to you, as always, by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 a month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver online. Crunch.com. Roger Goodell talked. We'll get to that. More fallout from the Luka Doncic trade. Your mail sack questions are coming up at 8:15. They are welcome at the Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. It is a loaded final hour. Don't go anywhere. Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
The Fan.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
KFXX, KWJJ, HD2, Portland. An Odyssey Sports Station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the Trailblazers can't lose. They've won 4 in a row, 8 of their last 9, doubling up on the Suns 121-119 in overtime behind DeAndre Ayton with 25 points and 20 rebounds. They hit 16 of 40 point attempts. Look for a 5th straight win tonight, hosting the Pacers at 7 after Indiana rallied in Salt Lake City to beat the Jazz Monday night 112-111. You can see this one on KUNP. That's Xfinity Channel 1016. Blazers 5-point underdogs. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, with his State of the League press conference from the Super Bowl Monday, gave no timetable for when an 18-game schedule could be implemented. Said the league will continue to expand the use of video assist for officials and is continuing to test technology to assist them with the spotting of the football and determining first downs. Browns are on the record saying they have no interest in trading defensive end Myles Garrett despite his request to be moved, while the Rams have told wide receiver Cooper Kupp they do intend to trade him before next season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
This is your home for all-day NFL coverage. The Odyssey app and Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. This is a week for quality food and beverages.
I don't like beans in my chili. That's a fair debate because the original chili did not have beans in it. What do you mean you were there when they created the original chili?
I was.
On the Old West?
Yep. Expensive commercials and stupid questions from reporters covering their first sporting event.
Is your mom picking you up after the Super Bowl?
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com. Injured? Don't trust just anyone to something so personal. Call George McCoy at Warren Allen. Online at WarrenAllen.com.
Dirt and Sprague on 1080.
I'm here so I won't get fined.
The Fan.
Hey, let's do this. Final hour, Dirt and Sprague here on Portland Sports Leader, 1080 The Fan, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube, as we are every single day.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Happy Super Week, everybody. It is the Tuesday of Super Week. We are getting closer and closer to the big game.
2 things I saw on the internet today.
Yeah, what do you got?
Hulk Hogan was on McAfee yesterday.
Oh, he was, Hulk Hogan.
And was asked about being booed.
Hulkamania.
At the Netflix debut of their WWE Raw.
I did see the highlights. I saw that he got booed. I also saw they had the Royal Rumble this weekend, and Wrestling Bro, very, very happy with Royal Rumble.
Jey Uso won.
Yeah. I didn't know. I just saw that people said it was one of the best Royal Rumbles ever.
Yeah. The celebrity influencer person that gets thrown in and everybody's just cool with it is weird to me. As a kid who grew up loving wrestling,
yeah,
my brain would have broke with how the internet operates now as a kid. But
that guy's just a YouTuber who gets to go wrestle.
Yeah,
like the Royal Rumble.
That Speed kid.
Yeah,
have you seen him?
I have seen him.
He's the biggest influencer in the world right now. He got thrown out and he's like, oh, what? And they push him and he runs out. And then he eliminates a person, and the crowd's just cool with this, and I don't get that
it's
at
a
all.
Royal Rumble, man. Get these clowns out of here. It's just serious business.
But Hulk Hogan said, I think a lot of the reason I got booed was politics. And McAfee said, yeah, and other stuff, the N-word.
Certain words that were used.
And he didn't realize that, maybe that was a possibility.
I mean, it could be. You never know if you're the Hulkster. I don't know if you're quite that self-aware, unfortunately.
And Stephen A. has compared himself this morning to Patrick Mahomes.
Oh.
Says me and Mahomes are a lot alike. I say stuff that elicits people's mixed reactions.
That's right.
And Molly Querim had to spit out her water.
Excuse me, what?
You're Patrick Mahomes?
For a guy who walks into an NBA Finals building like he's playing in the NBA Finals as he goes to pontificate pregame, halftime, postgame, yeah, that sounds about right. That's an accurate quote right there.
Shocking, not shocking.
Shocking. We will get to the mail sack coming up in 10 minutes. I do want to dive a little bit more into the Luka Doncic stuff coming up bottom of the hour. One quick random note just to pass along for those who, I'm sure you saw it yesterday. Pete Carroll hired his son to be the new offensive line coach for the Raiders. For those who don't remember, Brendan Carroll was the offensive coordinator for Washington for last year. They had the whole kid thing. They had Belichick on defense, Carroll on offense. Well, then the dads got jobs, and they lost both their coordinators in the process. So Steve followed Bill to North Carolina, and now Brennan is following suit and following his dad to go to the Raiders.
Side note on this, because we kind of predicted this months ago.
Yes.
That both of these coaches would be gone for fairly obvious reasons. Belichick going to UNC was always going to take his kid, and Carroll getting at the Raiders was always going to take his kid.
Yeah.
He looks nothing like his dad.
Nothing at all.
But I also don't know how true that is because he has like a biker bar beard.
Down to the nipple beard, kind of. Like, it's a long...
ZZ Top
he's a
type.
ZZ Top member, yes.
Yeah, and like, I always wonder how that makes dads feel when their sons look nothing like them. Like, your kid is you.
Yeah, people
Like,
always say that. It's
white are you.
Yes.
and I see that, but like when the son looks nothing like the dad,
It's going to be a little uncomfortable.
like if you put those guys in a lineup, I wouldn't
never
go,
guessed.
his dad's Pete Carroll? No way.
No, if you didn't know anything about him, we just threw it, like, tweeted out a random picture of Brennan Carroll and said, who's this guy's dad? No, but if you didn't know football and what he looked like, you would never guess Pete Carroll.
Like in any way.
In any way, shape, or form. They don't look anything alike. But the beard is a big part of that, so to be fair, I don't know if he shaved off his beard. Maybe they'd look more alike,
Here's
but
the shaved beard photo.
nothing. They're like nothing alike with shaved beard, too.
But I also don't know what Pete Carroll's wife looks like.
Maybe it looks like the mom. I don't know. Check the mailman as well while you're at it. So that happened over the weekend. The flag football Pro Bowl took place on Sunday.
Kind of looks like the mom.
Did we watch a set? Does he kind of look like the mom?
I mean, more like the mom than Pete. Yeah, I don't see any.
Anybody
Didn't even-
cave and
Didn't know what channel it was on.
Okay, good.
No.
Just checking, just making sure.
I saw some video highlights of like, what do you think of Pat Surtain? Justin Jefferson, he a dog. Jameer Gibbs, he a dog.
He's a dog. Because he's really good. He's a dog. The numbers are in 4.7 million of you for some dumb reason watch the flag football.
We had a listener saying that they had recorded and they ended up watching some of it.
You know.
I get it. Background noise, whatever. It is what it is.
It is.
It dropped. That's
It
a
did.
drop.
At least went down almost over 1 million viewers from a year ago. So maybe America's finally waking up. Here is Roger Goodell. He has his State of the NFL press conference every time the Super Bowl rolls around. He has a very basically hand-selected media members that are allowed into a room. I was trying to find this yesterday on YouTube, and there was a station in Buffalo that did a live stream of it. And I open up the live stream. I'm like, okay, I'm just like searching Roger Goodell press conference on YouTube, trying to find
We
it.
might have done the same thing.
And it was like an hour of nothing. Did you watch this? And I was like, I kept clicking like fast forward. Like, when's Roger going to come out? And then with like 2 minutes left in the video, Roger comes out, and I'm like, wait a minute. The press conference was definitely longer than 2 minutes. And then I had to go find another one.
Well, the first one I watched was 10, and I went, this was 10 minutes?
Yeah, there's no chance it's 10 minutes.
Then I found another one that was 37 in total was the whole presser.
Yes.
The first one I watched, though, that was 37 minutes, it played, you couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
It was like... And I went to the comment section.
Somebody
I'm like, is
forgot to turn
anybody
the mic
else
on.
hearing this? And nobody was complaining. They were all like reacting to what he was saying.
I was
Is
just
this me?
watching it on the NFL Network.
Yeah, you watch it live in the middle of the day yesterday. I didn't have the chance to do that.
I watched the whole thing.
I ended up watching it too. There were some interesting tidbits, and we pulled a little bit of it. One of the controversies out of the AFC title game that we talked about the day after the game was, hey, did Josh Allen get that first down? That kind of looked like a first down to me, but the ball disappeared, and of course they called it short on the field. We have 57-year-olds who are spotting this with the naked eye. It's a first down,
That's
right?
a first down.
So, of course, Roger Goodell was asked, hey, you know that whole technology thing that you guys were kicking around? Why don't we implement that? Here's Roger Goodell on technology on spotting the ball.
We have. We tested, I think, in the preseason this past year on being able to use that technology. It is complicated. Obviously, you have a lot of humanity that interferes potentially with some of that, at least from a camera angle standpoint. But you also have a shape of the ball that is different, and it's about where the ball is, not where the individual is necessarily. So there are a combination of factors are there, but I do think that technology will exist sometime in the future. We're continuing a lot with our partners is how to advance that as quickly as possible so we can get to that place.
He's a very skilled politician when you watch his press conferences because he says a lot of things without saying really anything sometimes. Hey, we have the technology. We've tried it out. But it's a weird-shaped football, and, we'll continue to work with our partners to try and find a solution, and a.k.a. this probably isn't coming to the NFL anytime in the short-term future, and we'll be left with old dudes running in, trying to remember where their line is as guys are getting in their way and they're having to move out of the way. And then, hey, wait, now all of a sudden I'm 4 inches this way, I'm 4 inches that way. Here's your spot. Maybe it's a first down. I don't know.
Yeah, also, which one gets to spot it?
Yeah,
There's
who gets
two
the
different-
final call? You got one on each side coming in. It doesn't make any sense, man.
Oh, I think this is I think that comment about the shape of the football and where it is in relationship, because if you stick a where do you put it? Like, how do you? I think that's the last piece, the sticking point.
How do you not have one on each tip?
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm just asking the question.
But which way is the football oriented when you go down?
Why can't
is it horizontal?
Why
is it
can't you
vertical?
just have any kind of technology that already exists saying the ball is at the line? What does it matter?
Well, I mean, this is my point. That's why I don't think it's going to come anytime soon.
I get the sense they want this to come. He talked about Menifee asked him a follow-up question.
Are you going to test it before you do it?
And so they said, yeah. So
they tested it last preseason. I mean, they've been testing this for years now.
They did, and it wasn't. It either took too long or it wasn't as accurate as it needs to be.
Well, you also have to time up when does it's one thing to track the ball. When does the knee go down? And then you got to sync those two things up. So it's
when does the whistle blow, that sort of thing.
So it's not just finding out where to me it's almost something that would just be used in specific instances where I don't know why. Look, I get that the ball's a weird shape.
It would be more like the VAR review of offside in soccer, where is the players when the ball is played forward?
Yeah.
It would have to be that technology.
Do they use that?
Soccer does, yes.
Oh, okay. Has tennis got their review?
They got their review down, yeah.
Yeah, but the VAR reviews can take up to 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, we're worried about review times.
I mean,
now.
NFL games are about 4.5 hours at this point.
Okay,
so, Yeah, I just look. You have calls like that. To me, there's a better way to do it. He's saying that
might have been the determining factor between Buffalo being in this game and Kansas City being in this game.
They very well could have won that game.
This
had
whole
they picked up a first down.
Well, they want to make everything you're kind of saying. It makes sense in a vacuum. Also, can we just get to it already? You're naming leagues that are using it.
Yeah, you're a $1 billion entity. Like, you are the richest sport in the country.
It's ridiculous.
You have unlimited resources, and seems like there's a solution there, but he was asked a lot. Officiating was one of the biggest kind of headlines of the entire press conference. He was asked about their officials and how they operated. That and a lot of DEI questions. One of the other things that's looming for the NFL, player safety is paramount. Mm-hmm. They had their lowest concussion total this year, I believe, in however many years it's been tracked. Guys are wearing the Guardian caps. We got rid of kickoffs. Look at us. We're making progress.
Recognizing guys who took massive hits and saying, you got to come off the field.
Yes, we're making progress in player safety. So what's the NFL's response?
Concussions are at a historically low level this year. We think that's a large result of the efforts that are being made, one, to improve equipment, but also the changes we make in the rules of the game, and also the way we train our players. So I think all of those are factors in how do we look at the offseason and how do we look at that with our partners, the players, and try to continue to make advancements in this case. And if we do, 18-2 might be a possibility, because we know that fans, I think, love football. They want more football, but we have to be incredibly sensitive and smart about the balance and how we deal with that. And I think that's something that I think we're all interested in focusing on, but it hasn't begun yet.
I'm going to give you a hot take. Nobody wants 18 games.
You remember when Key and Peele did the anger translator, like the Obama anger translator thing? I'm going to give you the Roger Goodell translator. How much more money am I going to get from my television partners for one more week of regular season games? When that money hits the sweet spot, the players have no say over this because we steamroll them every time.
Players do have say.
They didn't have a say the last time. They said they were going to hold out for a 17th or 8th, whatever it was, regular season game. How did that work out? What did the players get in that concession?
I mean, if you're going to chime in, Riggins, you got to know.
What did they get in that concession? They wanted guaranteed contracts. That's how the debate started. We want guaranteed contracts if you won a 17th regular season game. That went out of the window after like 2 weeks, and the NFL got their 17th regular season game. I think the owners steamroll the players in the NFL. Every time we're in a holdout situation, this is not like the NBA players have a say, like, I'm not playing or I'm in and out. This is going to happen when the media partners say, sure, we'll pony up an extra fill in the blank, and that'll be enough to satisfy the NFL.
Well, he was asked about the NBA's media rights deal and if that makes them view their situation as like undervalued, and he said, well, we're always undervalued, and he laughed about it because, well, he's true.
Yeah, they are. They're undervalued.
The top 100 television programs every year, they have like 93 of them.
Yes. 5 million people just watched a flag football Pro Bowl game, which seems it's a downturn. I like that, but 5 million people.
Right. They're going to get to an 18th game, and he's going to use these things to cite like why this is okay. What they're not going to talk about or maybe bring up, concussions are down. Great. How are leg injuries going? What about other injuries? Like, I don't know about you, but I'm every year with 17 games, I'm just like, can my team just not get hurt this week?
Please stay healthy.
By week 15, you are just nervous because at any moment your team can be the Lions.
Yep.
The best team maybe in football, and in the blink of an eye, you lose 9 guys.
Yep.
And so 18 feels inevitable, especially when you talk about getting more money. Amazon's grown in viewership, he said. Netflix averaged 30 million worldwide. So they are growing the game globally. You get to 18 games. I don't know who this is. I really would love to meet the person. I love football.
I love football.
Why do you need 18 games? You don't. You're just being gluttonous at this point. It's not good for the players.
No.
It's going to change the results and the final product of this league. Like, the Chiefs are obviously the best team in football. We know that. And we also know the Eagles have been one of the best teams in football. But what about the years we play 18 games and it's 2 teams that we all watched and say, no,
not the best team.
But we're gonna crown them and say, well, you're the best team in football. You won you won the Super Bowl. So I don't have an appetite for 18. You're overreaching at that point.
And maybe it's reactionary, but I also feel like the final week of the regular season has largely been, not that it was always very important. How many games did we have that were worth watching in week 17 this year?
You get a couple of them, but largely it's just like,
or I guess it'd be week 18.
Why
with
is
the
Titans Dolphins even being played?
Yeah, there's a million games that are just like, there's no implications here, and this team is already locked up, and this team's not playing anybody, and we got Lions and Vikings on Sunday Night Football, so at least we got that one. Roger Goodell, his State of the Union of the NFL yesterday. It was a lot of answers came out of it, and there were a couple of snippets that we wanted to pull for you. I'm going to dive into some of the fallout from the Luka deal and some of the additional reactions to it coming up bottom of the hour. But next, let's get to your mail sack questions. 503-864-6326. Send them in to the Vancouver Ford text line. We'll answer them next on The Fan.
It's time for a sports injury report. The injuries and rehab that impact the success of sports teams.
Why?
Brought to you by Rock Orthopedic.
Well, of course, that's my goal. We're going to go through the week, but, that's the goal for me to play. And just to have the window open for me, I'm excited just for this opportunity.
That is Brandon Graham, who, when he got hurt, said, hey, maybe if we make it all the way to the Super Bowl, I got a chance to play this year. He's 36 years old, coming up on the end of his career, obviously, the entire time with Philadelphia. And it'd be a game changer if he's able to go on Sunday.
It'd just be nice to kind of have him and have his last opportunity, potentially, of his career play in the Super Bowl with the Eagles. They came so close last time. You're getting guys that retired giving encouraging text messages to some of these players this week. We'll see if Graham can give it a go.
Sports Injury Report presented by Rock Orthopedic, board-certified specialists who diagnose and treat the widest range of orthopedic cases with care and expertise. To schedule an appointment with Dr. John Cohen, visit rocpdx.com.
week edition of Dirt and Sprague
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
on 1080 The Fan.
All right, we'll get back into Luka Doncic coming up bottom of the hour. The bombshell that rattled the sports psyche on Saturday.
Swag, you do have to respond with something the players got when you say that they do.
Yeah, I'm curious. Do you think the players have gotten something in a negotiation with the league?
I feel like they get the most railroaded of all the leagues.
Well, probably.
Like, we make fun of DeMar Smith.
They can't unilaterally just decide to do it. They do have to have the players sign off on it.
Yeah.
That was in the last CBA.
They
so
do.
They do have a union.
It'll have to be. There'll have to be significant money coming in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's something though. If they decide to strike over it, if that triggers something else, I have no idea. But
Yeah, I just feel like the NFL gets what they want whenever they want, and you're not wrong. The players have to sign off on it ultimately.
Yeah.
But I remember this being a big deal when they went to a 17th regular season game, and the players were like, "Over our dead bodies," and then it was like.
So if
here's
everybody's
the 17th
salary
game.
gets automatically boosted, whatever percent of a season that goes up,
Yeah, guys are going to make more money. You're not wrong there.
then
More TV money coming in because you got an extra
Yeah.
week of regular season games are going to be aired. Somebody asked, we can start the mail sack here. Where did this go? Where did it go? Basically, I can't find it now. Basically asked, would you be willing to do an 18th regular season game if they got rid of the preseason altogether?
Well, they would do. Well, if they'll be down to 2.
What are we at, 3 right now, preseason
Yeah,
games?
3.
Will
It'll go down to 2. Yeah, it will go down to 2.
It will.
He said in that press conference, he said, yeah, going to 18-2. That would
That's
be the
what they
deal.
want.
No,
Yeah.
because I don't care about preseason either. I just think 18. We're just.
Somebody asked, what about an 18th game with a second bye week during the season?
I know.
That'll be part of the negotiation.
And then your Super Bowl's in March?
No, they want to move the Super Bowl to President's Day weekend, so you have the Monday off.
Well, everybody
after.
wondering why we're talking Luka Doncic on a Monday. It's like, well, because the NFL added stuff to
They
be
have a
this
week
late.
off. Yes, we have to have our press conferences and our media nights.
I
And
know.
ask Travis Kelce about Taylor Swift.
I'll gladly be on the island alone. I don't need 18 games. I think you're putting teams at risk. I don't think we're going to get the best teams at all times. And I just
The question-
what's the appetite for it?
The
Yeah, I
biggest
don't know where
question
it's
I
will
need
be,
something to watch on television.
Right.
will they expand the active roster to include all 53 people on the roster?
Yeah, up it to 80 so I can watch a guy I've never heard of have to be my relief player.
So
That worked out well.
Well,
for the
no,
Lions.
because you have a 53-man roster, then you only have 46 or 47 active for a game. Just make those other 5 or 6 active.
Yeah.
Because they're already under contract. You're paying them. I don't know why they don't play.
Yeah, I'm in lockstep with you on this one, Sprague. I don't get why. I don't understand where the demand comes from for another regular. I'm not one of those people. I love football. I love watching football.
Because the league, it's just money.
Well, the league, I get. I
Fans
understand
are
why they
different
want
thing.
more money, but the Goodell line in there about people love football and they want more football. Like I don't need I'm sad. This weekend's the last football game until August, and there's that moment when the Super Bowl ends. You're like, damn it, man.
Yeah.
Like this, I had this a little bit on Sunday. Now I was glued to watching Rory win because I gambled the last like $13 in my DraftKings account on him to win, so I was locked into that thing and through the entirety. There was that moment of like, dang, it's the first weekend without football. It's kind of a bummer, and I'm going to have that realization Super Bowl Sunday. But I don't need another regular season week. I just don't. Like, we just got through, and I feel like we have amnesia sometimes as sports fans. What did we all say the Monday after week 17? Or week, whatever it is, week 18 now. After the last week of the regular season, it was like, holy hell, that was terrible. The Chiefs didn't play anybody. The Bills, this team didn't need to win a game. This team played their backup quarterback. We got a Titans playing another 3-win team. Like, this is a horrible week of football. And now we want another one of those where all this stuff's locked up. Guys are going to get banged up. To me, there's no ask for it and demand for it, and I don't.
Well, there's a
understand
demand for it. You can't say there's not a demand.
I mean, sure, people
for it.
will watch. I don't think fans are actively clamoring for. You know what I really desperately want is another week of regular season NFL football. We will watch, and I'll watch along with everybody else if they give it to us. Of course we will. Just like we all looked at the expanding of the NFL playoff and said, you don't really need that 7 seed in there.
But you're not watching. Yeah, you're going to
But I'm going to watch the game.
Yeah, but you're not watching the way you watch other weeks.
No, I'm not watching the way I watch it. It's on.
And you're doing stuff because
Yes.
you know 90% of those games don't matter.
Going to be blowouts. What is your go-to snack food for the Super Bowl? Also, blue cheese or ranch dressing for wings?
Blue cheese at all times.
Blue cheese
ranch
at all times.
Ranch is not even a consideration for me.
If your wings are good enough, they don't need sauce.
No, I don't ever use sauce on my wings, but if I do.
But if you give like the plain fried wing with no real stuff on it, no rub, no nothing.
I could dip in a little blue cheese.
Not
I need blue
either.
cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, they're mayonnaise-based. I ain't touching it.
Go-to snack? What's your go-to snack? Not what you're going to eat this weekend, but like your dream snack for football. Do you have one?
I mean, chip. I mean, how's chips not the number one?
It's a cliche, but it is.
Everybody has a bowl of chips out.
Yeah.
Whether it's chips, nachos, chips and dip, chips and salsa, whatever. I mean, just a big platter of nachos is
I love
delightful.
a good bowl of guac and queso.
Oh, you get those on the counter right there. Boom. You get your big bowl of chips next to it. You're just
Why
scarfing.
are you okay with queso but not a mayo? That's I feel like they're
Cheese
family.
is wonderful.
But I feel like they're family.
No, they're not close to being family.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's that question. Do you guys answer tweets or do you have minions who do that for you? That is hilarious that you think that we have minions.
We used to have interns.
You see the cameras in here.
We're here.
No minions.
I had a buddy text me recently. He was in the aftermath of the Oregon loss. He was going through it. And he
blackout haze.
Being one of those, wandering through the wilderness looking for home.
He's got some tweets he regrets.
No, he sent me a text and he was like, dude, I'm going through the rabbit hole. Can you remember a game that Oregon was ever down 34-0 in the first half?
Oh.
And then he asked me in the follow-up, was like, I don't know if you guys have interns or researchers at the station who look stuff like that up. I was like, yeah, no, we don't have an analytics department behind the scenes, and I don't think there was
What was
ever
the
a game.
halftime score of Lanning's that Georgia game?
That would be my guess.
I think it was 28-3. Let me go.
I
go look that up.
field goal in the first half or later?
Maybe. Well, no, touche.
I
That
thought
was
they got
later.
the field goal late to avoid
Did they
the
do
shutout.
a Florida Gator?
Hold on, let me pull that up.
To avoid the shutout?
He did. He kicked a field goal late in that game. Yeah. Now that I think back, hold on. Let me see. It wasn't 34-0. I know that.
Okay. So 34-0 may be a rarity.
Would that have been 22? Was his first year?
Yeah, 22.
49-3 was the final.
Yep.
The score at halftime was no. They did have a field goal in the first half. Touche. 28-3 at halftime. I was
28-3.
28-3 at the half. They were down though 28-0. So that was the next closest. I mean, there weren't a lot of examples. Boise blew them out, and then Oregon came back many years ago. In one of the first games, Darren Thomas played. They had those bad Utah games the last year under Cristobal, but now that they didn't get to. So I'm getting distracted now, but yes, we answer our own tweets. We don't have minions.
Colin yesterday in the opening segment had to leave early. He threw up.
He did, yeah.
I don't know if he ended up coming back, but he basically left for the show, and so awkward silence. You could kind of hear him go, and he left, and then they come back, and it's Jason McIntyre, and then we find out it's because Colin got sick. To give you a peek behind the curtain, Jason McIntyre is doing the co-host update, role. He can slide over and do that show because they have 9 writers.
Yeah.
It's a scripted show.
Yeah.
Some of it is Colin's real opinion, but a lot of it is also, we met a writer in Vegas for his show who was bragging about how I came up with the Herdline News. And we were like, cool.
Okay.
I don't know what. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
They
been doing
write
sports
out.
updates for a while now.
He hires writers that know what his takes tend to be, and they just fill in and guess.
Yeah.
So, anything related to our show is just us.
It's just us, man.
If
It's
Dirt
us.
throws up, I don't know what he wanted to do. I got to fill in that gap.
You better do that golf segment after I puke and I have to leave the show early.
I'm kicking that to swag.
Get to that Jason Day sweatsuit, damn it, in the 8 o'clock hour. 2 more quick ones. Millsack, why has the station cut back on listener involvement and engagement? There's less out-of-studio events, no fan madness or fantasy football.
Well, we've been at out
and
in the
away are
casino.
the days of the radiothon. Yeah, fan madness has never gone away.
Radiothons are. We had a partner situation happen.
Yeah, just that one.
That's
yeah.
also a lot. It takes a lot of people to run a radiothon the way we
That
used
is
to run
a
it.
huge team that it needs in order to execute that at a high level.
And I would honestly just tell you, media landscape's changed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Fan Madness, we don't have the detail. I don't think we can announce those yet, but Fan Madness details are being cooked up behind the scenes as we speak.
But we had Fan Madness last year.
And we did. We've had it
and I think
every
year before.
year, I think. So
Yes.
Fan Madness hasn't gone away. And we still do the golf tournament every year,
Yeah.
so that's one of our other staples.
We
Fantasy
legally can't do interns the way
No.
we used to do them.
No. Fantasy football draft went away. way. I think in COVID, and to be honest, that's probably a good thing because that was a pain in my ass. I love doing it with listeners, but
a lot of that work.
Trying to set up 7 different leagues with 12 different listeners in each league, and then you have to have everybody accepting their invite prior to the draft, and I ran that entire thing. That was an absolute nightmare for me, so I did not have much fun doing that in whatsoever. The other question is Chauncey Billups in or out for next season?
Oh, Chauncey's out.
He's got to be out.
Are you sure about that?
Chauncey's going to be on my television next year.
You
Talking
sure
about
about
the
that?
NBA.
What if they keep winning?
You want to take a bet on that?
What if they keep winning?
He's going to be on
Playoff
television.
Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey will be on TV talking about basketball.
He's won 8 out of 9.
If he decides to not stay in coach.
I think we got to bring him back the way he's playing.
I don't like that. You want Scoot to keep playing 20 minutes?
I think we bring him back.
You want Shea sub 20 minutes?
I love the direction of
Let's
the franchise.
keep the Klinger below 12.
You know what this is right now, Brandon? It's fun. They're winning games again. I'm having fun.
I'm having fun watching Tamani. Denny.
There's your mail sag every Tuesday at 8:15. Why did the Mavs trade Luka Doncic? More fallout from that. We'll dive into it next. First, your swag with Sports Center.
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan. Blazers just keep winning against the wishes of some fans. Portland picking up their 8th win in their last 9 games, holding off the Suns in overtime, 121-119. DeAndre Ayton with 25 points and 20 rebounds to lead the way. They'll try to go for a 5th straight win tonight. They host the Pacers, 7 p.m. tip. Indiana rallied to beat the Jazz in Salt Lake City, 112-111 Monday night. This one's on KUNP, Xfinity Channel 1016. Blazers 5-point underdogs. TNT's doubleheader tonight begins with the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference in Cleveland. The Cavs host the Celtics at 4:30. Cleveland a 2-point favorite. At 7, the Battle of L.A. is the Lakers, who will not have Luka Doncic in uniform yet, take on the Clippers. Clips 8-point favorites. While the Browns are on record saying they have no interest in trading defensive end Myles Garrett despite his request, the Rams have told wide receiver Cooper Kupp they are looking to move him before next season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Slam Dunk in Vegas is This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
on 1080 The Fan.
Well, some people speculating he's got a drinking problem. Some say it's because he's a fat ass or he had too much iced tea and lemonade. He had to work out in a sweatsuit, and everybody's trying to connect dots. Why in the world did the Dallas Mavericks trade Luka Doncic?
Oh, I thought you were asking about Jason Day's outfit at
No.
Pebble Beach.
What the hell happened to you, Jason Day?
He said a sweatsuit.
You show up in a sweatsuit, you clearly got some issues in your personal life, and no, he did not forget his luggage. It has been wild to watch everybody from different corners. I think Chandler Parsons had a thing where he texted Mark Cuban. It was like, hey, any thoughts on this?
Cuban had no say in this.
No, he had no say, and he just responded, I think, I'm shocked, and they were both shocked, and it has really changed the direction, I think, of the rest of the NBA season.
It won't hit and be real until I see him on the floor in a Laker
When you see him in a Laker uniform, that first TNT game that he's playing and LeBron's throwing
Saturday is what we're hearing.
Dude, I think it's going to be great for ratings for the NBA, to the chagrin of Mavs fans. Like, this is awesome for the rest of your season. How does it work out in Dallas? How far do they go? Does Anthony Davis stay healthy? Can Kyrie stay healthy? What does Luka in LA do? Like, it has totally changed the direction of the NBA regular season.
I love that you think this is going to get people to watch.
I think that it will.
I think people like yourself love to talk about this stuff, but still not watch and follow the league.
I'll watch the first Laker Luka Doncic game. I will, if it's on. I'm not going to go buy League Pass for the rest of the season.
Goodell made a good point in his presser yesterday, and it was that I think he said over 85% of our games were accessible on TV.
Yeah.
You know what's not?
The NBA.
And baseball also has this problem.
The Lakers play, I think they played tonight on TNT. He's not playing tonight, but they're on TNT. How many times will they be on national TV, though, the rest of the year?
I mean, they're not going to change their schedule much. They're already scheduled to be on.
Lakers
flex into a couple NBA TV games, I guarantee
Lakers host the Pacers Saturday. That's a 1 p.m. game.
That's his debut, right?
That's what's
what they're
scheduled.
saying? Yeah.
We'll see if NBA TV picks that game up.
The funny thing about all this is
because ABC's not moving their primetime game. That's the Celtics and Knicks from the Garden.
Yeah. So. People doing the 48 hours later pod. Like I listened to Windhorse did another pod. You still don't have answers.
No.
And I don't think we're going to get answers until something is either revealed, leaked, or it's just going to be one of those weird-ass trades that nobody really understood.
We'll get a 30 for 30 in 10 years, and it'll be like, this is why we traded Luka Doncic.
I also, I'm curious to see how all this is going to go. They may be a team interested in Robert Williams. Like, if we're going to trade a Blazer, is Robert Williams not the most obvious minus 450 favorite to be the player?
Has to be.
And everybody else is probably plus money because of their contracts.
Highly efficient player. He doesn't have a massive contract. He can be an effective guy on a championship caliber team.
Yes.
Right away.
And I just don't understand this stuff brewing of like they can't play together, LeBron and Luka.
Yeah, that's not a real take. Who has that take?
Charles Barkley.
Well, Charles Barkley doesn't know what the hell he's talking
Charles
about.
Barkley's the leading voice of the entire National Basketball Association.
Has there ever been somebody that LeBron James couldn't play with?
No, because I thought about this. He's played with a big and AD and Bosh.
Yeah.
And Love. He's played with point guards.
Kyrie Irving. Championship with him. He's played with two guards. Dwayne Wade won a championship with him.
Yeah, there's really not a position he hasn't.
Took Zildrudas Ilgauskas to an NBA Finals.
Played with another power forward in Anthony Davis.
What are we doing here? I
don't know.
He could play with anybody else.
But the take is from Charles that
really
they won't work. They can't play together.
That's somebody who hates LeBron James, who
also hates the NBA.
Turning into Skip Bayless, which is kind of a weird thing. Of like, everything is negative about this. Yeah, look, if that game on Saturday at 1:00 is not on television in any way, shape, or form for the league, that's a whole nother conversation.
Well, the league has this problem nightly. There are great games on every night, but how many people watched Rockets Knicks last night? Yeah.
Start to finish.
I bet you it wasn't above 800,000.
No, probably not. Probably not. But it's that time of year.
That's the 2 seed in the West. And that's what, the 3 or 4 seed in the East?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a really good game last night.
Great atmosphere, New York. Brunson went crazy.
Yeah, I love watching Dylan Brooks. Dude.
Dylan Brooks.
I love Dylan Brooks.
Dylan the villain.
I love Dylan the villain.
His WP tattoos on his shoulders. Dirt was asking if that was a Widmer Brothers tattoo.
Dude, does the W not look like that W?
Look like the
when I saw
W.
that tattoo, I was like, is that like a homage to Oregon? Is that what he drank when he was a Duck? I was so confused.
I looked it up. It's Wolf Pack.
Yeah, he's the Wolf Pack.
Him and his buddies were the Wolf Pack pack when he was a kid, so he got tattoos for the wolf pack.
Yeah, Haralabob told a story about his first time at the Mavs facility, and he was working out in basically a total sweat tracksuit, sauna suit, in order to lose weight because he came in so fat. This is early in his career. And Mark Cuban was like, don't worry about it. We got scientists behind it. And then after practice, they had like a Tex-Mex buffet delivered. And Luka Doncic walked over and essentially filled up like a big gulp with like lemonade and iced tea, just a big ass Arnold Palmer. And he filled up a giant plate of tacos and all this food. And he said he looked at Mark Cuban and was like, dude, what's going on here? And Cuban was like, shut up. This isn't your side of the business. Don't worry. We got nutritionists and all these different people. And he was very critical of the trade, but he said inside the organization, you walked around terrified of Luka Doncic or you kissed his ass at every turn. It was like one direction or the other for people.
Why would you be
inside the
terrified of him?
I don't know.
Because of the power?
The power that he had. He could get you fired. He was the face of the franchise.
Well, he had like 7 guys he brought in with his of his own team.
He was doing the own training thing. He's got his own trainers. He's got his own nutritionists.
Well, and they started firing a couple of these people last off season. It just didn't. Nobody connected the dots that this was ever real.
No.
And I think the thing about yesterday and listening to some of the takeaway, people aren't going to say this directly because I don't think you can ever prove it. They do cite not only the eating stuff, but the drinking.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I have no clue.
The famous video of Michael Finley taking his beer away after the West Finals.
That was an eye-opener.
Well,
at the time, it was like, wait, what?
A bit of an eye-opener. And you kind of go to conspiracy a little bit when you have things like that happen. The Vegas one was thrown out that they want to move the Mavericks since the
conspiracy theory.
The family's connected to the Sands Casino of like they want to be the team that relocates, and then you restart your expansion with Seattle and Dallas gets a team back. Like that's another theory. And none of that may be true. They may just very well could have not liked his attitude.
Just didn't want to do it.
Not wanted to give him $300 million and said, yeah, 80 fits our situation now.
Let's try and win a title in the next 3 years.
But I also was thinking back to what Nico Harrison was saying of the future. Our timeline now in the future. And to him, the future's 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years. What can we do in the next 3 to 4 years?
Is that how you view the Blazers?
No, because we're a tanking team, or we should be a tanking team.
We're not a tanking team. We're a hot red team.
Won 8 out of 9. Extend Chauncey, baby.
We cannot lose right now. What is future in people's definition in sports? Is it 10 years or is it 3 to 4?
I think every organization's a little bit different depending on where you're at in your timeline. Please, for the love of God, give me an LA-Dallas first-round playoff series if the NBA wants a ratings bonanza. That will do it. Wrap it up, and final thoughts, poll questions. Send you on our way on a Tuesday next on The Fan.
It's time for Protect This House, the impact of the home advantage in sports. Brought to you by Smartline Home Design. Online at smartlinehomedesign.com.
Crowd rises to its feet again with 1:09 to play. Brunson just inside the midcourt line. Bridges sets him a screen. Brunson brings it right side. Pulls up for 3. Knocks it down!
That's Knicks radio from last night. I watched almost this entire game. Knicks went off for 46 points in the fourth quarter. And funny, speaking of Dallas, to think about the time that the Dallas Mavericks had Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, and Kristaps Porzingis on the roster at the same time. That was not a decade ago, Bob. That was 2.5 years ago.
Kind of sounded like Jake Zibin on the call there.
It did a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah. Not quite the bang, but a good call. That was a good game. Houston, the 2 seed in the West.
Be great to have Mike Breen as your local TV guy, too. Protect This House brought to you by Smartline Home Design, a trusted local architectural design studio ready to bring your dream home to life. Visit smartlinehomedesign.com.
This is a Super Week edition of Dirt and Sprague
Brought to you by George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back in, 8:52. Chuck's in here throwing darts at us. He's
Still wearing his Vikings
calling
shirt.
us homers and honks. The Ducks basketball should be stinking it up. Damn it, Chuck. I know, they suck right now. Blazers are back in action tonight. They take on the Pacers.
6 shoes, Chuck.
Do we make it,
6 shoes.
what would this
I like
be,
those.
9 out of 10 or 10 out of 11?
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 with a win tonight?
Not what would it be, what will it be?
What will it be?
The Pacers coming in here and winning? I don't think
what
so.
it will be? It will be the over. It will be the over on February 4th.
They're also going to beat Sacramento, which I'm going to enjoy. And then after that, they got a little bit of a tough roadie, but it's not like we haven't seen them randomly beat good teams before.
14th pick in the draft is exactly where you want to be if you can be there. And
Well, that would
very
mean they have to
excited
be
about that.
involved in the play-in.
Oh, touche. Well, there's 30 teams in the NBA, right? So 13th pick, right where you want to be. Well, 14th would be a disaster.
I still don't think they're going to make the play-in. I think they're going to fall just short of the play-in, which is going to put them right at that top 11 odds.
Hell yeah, brother. Give me the 12th overall pick.
Draft Simulator earlier gave us the 9th pick. I'll run it again just for funsies. And we finished with the 9th pick again.
Let's go, baby.
Igor Demon.
Big fan of Igor Demon.
BYU kid.
Does Taylor Swift strike you as somebody who makes home-cooked meals? Let's see, we got here 70% of you say no.
By the way, the Spurs won the Cooper Flag Lottery Simulator.
Of course they did.
Could you imagine?
Of course they did. If you see Brent Barry shopping, do you go up and say hi to him? 69% of you say no. Nice. Nah, not going to do it. Hey, Brent.
Bones. Bones.
What's going on, man? Well, that will do it for us, folks. We went to Cleveland for the Daily Ticker to get the update on Myles Garrett. What's going on there? So go check that out at Dirt and Sprague at 1080 The Fan. As soon as we're done, we'll tweet it out, 1080thefan.com as well. Thanks, everybody, for watching on YouTube today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do so. It's almost 5,000 of you, so keep those numbers going. Like the video if you're watching, and thanks so much for being a part of our Tuesday. We will talk to you tomorrow at 6 a.m. after another Blazer win. Colin is next. You're listening to 1080 The Fan.